Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran and I'm here with River Brown, Andrew Velez, and Joe Dells. And this is episode 284. In this episode, we're going to debate whether or not the Celtics will come back down 0-3, rank the top 5 head coaching vacancies, talk Victor Wembanyama expectations, DeAndre Hopkins being released by the Cardinals, NFL's new kickoff rule, and more. Celtics, they're on the verge of doing something historic. How are you feeling about this, Dells?
I'm feeling great because my good friend River Brown over here has been talking so much shit to me. Over this past week, we were at Drew's party on Saturday. He was laughing at me, pointing, hysterically laughing. We went down 2-0. I said, Riv, it's first to 4, not first to 2. He kept going. We go down 3-0. He's on Twitter posting laughing videos, doing all of this shit. Now he's been quiet, awfully quiet these last few days.
He's trying to weather the storm,
Yeah,
bro.
He's trying to weather the storm. We were going up 18. We were on the Bleacher Report app yesterday. We're going to be back on there tomorrow, so make sure to tune in. But, Mr. Brown, you were trying to weather that storm yesterday. What happened?
First to 4, you said. I'm chilling, man. I'm just excited. I'm enjoying the process. Been joking on you for a couple of days. It's been fun, horsing around. But reality hits tomorrow.
Does it?
Yeah, 100%.
You told me we were going to get swept.
I don't think that's true.
You did.
I've always said Heat in 6. It was always.
It was always Heat
It
in 6.
was always
Okay.
Heat in 6. My analysis, it was Heat in 6.
Was your analysis 3-0 and then lose 2?
Fuck no. Didn't see 3
Got
at
it. Got
all.
it. I don't think anyone did, to be fair.
They're on some shit. But congrats. You won 2 straight. It's impressive.
You need to win 2 more.
Yeah.
We haven't done shit yet.
You have to win in Miami.
Yeah, we've done it already.
It's going to be
Did
loud.
last year.
It's going to be
We
extremely
won Game
loud.
7 in Miami last year. It was loud.
Congrats.
Okay, now, before we get into the episode, 2
Losers.
things. First of all, make sure you guys like the episode.
Absolutely.
Make sure you guys subscribe if you aren't subscribed already. And go rate our podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify if you listen to the audio version. And number 2, Dell's Boom Fantasy
As always.
lines for Game 6. We need them.
You were on the money. Was it last time or the game before you had the Tatum over?
It was Game 4.
Right.
The over on Tatum
He has
points.
been bugging
And
the
he
fuck
had
out.
his 30 ball, I want to say, that game.
He did.
He's been the
Tatum's
best player of the series. I
Yeah.
don't care what anyone says. He has been. He has been.
Not wrong.
Such a lie.
It's
not a lie.
really not a lie. You saw what Jimmy Butler did last game? Stinker.
I
The
think
game
they
before that,
both. I
stinker.
think they both have been pretty much the same.
Tatum's been slightly better. But
do
I still
think-
would say I would take Tatum. And it's not disrespect to Butler.
I think they've been slightly the same. I think the first 2 games, Jimmy was better down the stretch, and I think
Okay.
the game 3 was a blowout, so not acknowledging
with
that
you.
one. Game 4, Tatum was better. Game 5, Tatum
not
was
a
better.
question,
So
yeah.
it's like 2-2
Game
for
1
me.
and 2, Tatum had 30 points. Game 1 and 34 points.
But you're
Game
right.
2.
You're right about down the stretch.
And I think
that
that's what
fourth
matters
quarter,
to me
that's where
more.
I get where you're coming
in
from.
Game 2 especially, like Jimmy completely just took over in the 4th. So I think it's like 2-2 right now, personally.
Okay.
He took over in the 4th, but Butler in Game 2 finished with 27, 8, and 6. Tatum finished with 34, 13, and 8.
Yep.
He did take over in the 4th, and for all the struggles Tatum has had this postseason, he's averaging 28 points per game on 60% true shooting.
That's good.
His 3-point shot has been not what you would want if you're a Celtics fan. It's around like 30-ish% from 3, but his field goal percentage is over 50, which is obviously all day.
For sure. I know what everyone's thinking. What's Caleb Martin's line at? This man does not miss ever.
They had him low for Game 4.
Once again, you might think he's low. 13 points, 5 rebounds, 19.5 PRA.
13 points flat.
13 flat. I think he's up from 11.5 or 12.5 last game.
My biggest question mark, and we'll get into the analysis of if we think they're going to come back 0-3 or not, down 0-3 or not, but what is happening with Gabe Vincent? Is he going to play? That has become one of the bigger storylines in the series.
Do we know anything about it yet? Still, I'm
I didn't
assuming
even
it's
know he wasn't
questionable.
going to play the game before.
Right now, I'm under
He's
the
still
assumption
questionable.
that he might not play.
Still
Okay.
questionable.
So
Brogdon's
that
also questionable.
Caleb Martin line, I feel comfortable with the over,
It's looking juicy for sure.
given that he has been their second most consistent perimeter option on the team.
Do any of you guys all taking that 13 over?
13, it's intriguing. Last game he went 5 for 12. He had 14. So it's a line that he's been pretty much hitting every single game. So yeah, I feel good about it. Let's take the over.
What's Jimmy and Bam's over?
I already know. Jimmy Butler We are at 28.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, 6 assists, 42.5 PRA, 2.5 stocks.
If you think it's Heat and 6, then you're counting on a Jimmy Butler masterclass.
Let me go through my thought process.
Bam,
What's Bam's?
17.5 points, 8.5 rebounds, 30.5 PRA, 2.5 turnovers, 1.5 stocks.
That's hilarious with the turnovers. Yeah, I'm hammering Jimmy and Bam points.
Over 28.5 for Jimmy, over 17.
Yeah, go hard to go home.
Okay.
If they win, they hit the over.
Jason Tatum turnovers is intriguing. So is Jaylen Brown turnovers. But
3.5 for Tatum, 2.5 for
yeah.
Brown. Marcus Smart, 13.5 points as well.
That's no slight. They just turned the ball over.
Oh, no, for sure.
I'm going to go out on a limb here.
Screaming.
I took the Tatum line game 4. But the guy who's been talking mostly in this series for the Celtics has been Jaylen Brown. And I think elimination game, do or die, game 6, send it back to Boston. I'm taking an over on his points.
Okay.
I think he's going to have a big-time game.
What
I
is
do.
his
You
over
are the
for this?
weirdest dude alive.
Jaylen Brown's at 22.5 points.
That is not even a season average.
No, it's below. Well
Yeah,
below
That's
the
his
season
playoff
average.
average, right?
But yeah,
yeah,
it's
his
below-
playoffs
it's
like 23-ish.
His career playoff average, or at least averages for the last 7 playoff series. That's what it is.
He hasn't
He's at
had
23
He hasn't had
plus
the
6
best
Last
series
7
against Miami.
playoff series.
He had his
struggling.
best game by far last night, though.
Sure. Did 20, 23, something?
I think
And he was efficient. He didn't really need to score much.
Facts, yeah.
Nah,
He
he
needed
shot
to
over
take
50%. Facts.
So I'm going Jaylen Brown over. I'm feeling it. I'm
Okay.
feeling it. You know, I'm getting a sense of urgency here. So I'm going Caleb Martin over on his points.
like
I'm going Jaylen Brown over on his points. And on Boom Fantasy, correct me if I'm wrong, Dells, but can I just place 2? Do I have to go for the third one?
You could place 2. That's all
I
you
could
want.
just place
You
2?
could place 2.
I'm just going with 2 then. Do we have any matchups that are intriguing?
Not today. There will be matchups in the app tomorrow. There's none
Okay.
right now. Derek White also 2.5 3-pointers. He made 6 last game. He was
That's
on the
intriguing.
fire.
Yeah. I'm going to go Bam Adebayo under PRA. He's been struggling these last 2 games. Although he did try to turn it on in the third quarter, it was a little too late. I'm going to go Bam under PRA, 30.5.
Okay.
I'm going to go Caleb Martin over 13.
Okay.
And the threes for Derek White is intriguing. He's shooting a stupid percentage from 3 this
Even we
Eastern
were struggling
Conference
those
Finals.
first few games. He was the only one that was making shots.
So you know what? I am. I'll take your non-advice advice.
Nope.
But I'm going Derek White 2.5 over.
Okay. Good
and
respect.
Riv,
I
how are
think
you rounding up your parlay?
I'm on the 2 train with you. I'm gonna do Bam points over and Jimmy points over.
Bam points over.
Yeah, if they're gonna win, this shit has to go. So let's do it.
As always. And what was yours again? What were your 2?
I'm going Caleb Martin
13.
over on his points. I'm going Jaylen Brown,
Brown,
over on his
22.5.
his
Oh,
points.
so we're only doing 2?
I mean, you
Like
could do
it's ballsy
2. You
with
could do
3.
anywhere from 2 to
I
5.
like
Oh,
2.
we-
2 is a sweet spot
I
for
should,
me. Once I,
I
get
should
to
also
3, it's
mention this
dicey.
because it wasn't news, but on the last episode, we have a brand new feature. We have coverage out now on Boom Fantasy, so you
Okay.
no longer have to go perfect. If you make a 5-leg entry, you could go
Like,
4 for
okay.
5 and still win some money. So, you know, if there was
That's
something there
huge.
that might interest.
Who's it? Is it Isaiah Cruz? Isaiah?
Yeah,
Or
oh,
he's the
Isaiah
one-
Cruz.
yeah,
Shout out
he's
to
gonna
Isaiah
love
Cruz.
this.
He's always, DM or adding me
he
on
always went
Twitter.
off.
He's
always
gonna
one
love
off,
this.
and it's by like 1 or 2 points or rebounds or something. So coverage is brand new on Boom Fantasy. Links in the description. Use code PAS. Support the show, man. You know,
And make
franchise
sure-
tag. We need those signups and those deposits.
And make sure you guys are betting responsibly. That's the most important.
Amen
course.
to that.
Make
man.
sure you guys
Number
bet
one.
responsibly. Don't want to create a bunch of gambling addicts
Never
on the
that.
show.
You
But
turn
make
into
sure you
Joel.
guys do bet responsibly. That's why these 2-leggers I like.
Something
2-leggers I
calm.
like.
Something calm.
You know, it's something calm. It's not too risky.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's plus 200 odds. It's not none crazy. First topic of the show. We're going to get right into it. Celtics. Will they complete the 0-3 comeback? Man, oh man. Dells, the floor is yours. And I'm hoping that I'm hearing a spicy take. I don't want any reserved Dells, humble. I want you to really tell how you feel.
Look at us, man. Look at us. Who would have thought we would be here sitting 3-2 with an opportunity to win in Miami to go back to Boston for Game 7? And
Riv, look him in the eyes when he's talking.
Riv
so
wants
sorry. I was
nothing to
watching
do with
something.
me, and I don't blame him because I've been talking my shit to Riv because
Let me lock in.
he's
Hold
been
on.
ditching it out a lot. These first 3 games of the series, really nasty work by the Celtics. Got to give credit to Miami, of course, but I mean, it was some of the worst shooting I've seen all season long by this
Where's the
team.
credit?
And I just said it, they deserve their credit. They were making their shots. They were playing good defense,
just
playing
wanted to hear
connected.
all that.
And Missoula had a really interesting quote after the game yesterday. He said he was talking to one of his assistants, and the NBA is a 9-month season, and the Celtics just had 1 bad week. And sometimes that it is. And they had a bad week at probably the worst time in the season where the shots weren't falling. Defensively, they were not locked in. Missoula looked over his head at times. And all of a sudden, that seemed to turn around in Game 4. There's reports going around saying the Celtics team, the players had a dinner together. They came together. And, when you're down 0-3, it really goes to show what type of character you have and, what this team is really made of. What is that heart and soul? Do these guys actually do hate each other, which has been some very fishy reporting out there saying that they're tired of pretending to like each other. And it's some real nasty work out there. But as I'm sitting here 3-2, I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling really good that we go into Miami, take Game 6, go back to Boston, and close it out. Why not? Joe Mazzulla, who should be fired, undefeated in an elimination game so far. We know what Jason Tatum does in an elimination game. He shows up. I know Riv doesn't like to give him his credit because, why are we going to count this outlier Game 4 performance of fourth quarter Tatum? He shows up when it matters most. You remember that 50-piece in Game 7 against Philly? He shows up when it matters most. Game 6 in Miami, we're ready. The shots are falling. This defense looks very reminiscent of last year's defense. The players, all of a sudden, they miss Ime so much. They're down 0-3 to Miami. Screw all that nonsense. They're back in. They're playing defense. They're causing turnovers. They're making their threes. If they do this for 2 more games, they're going to the finals.
Don't forget, those to get your pass for the pool at the house.
I know, I got to.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to go or do you want to go?
He's deflecting.
No, I'm actually.
He's worried.
No, I'm not worried. I just find it. Del said an important quote.
He was riding on his high horse.
We've come a long way, and I think it's funny that you said that because I remember at this table before Game 1, I was the lone pick to pick Miami, and I was very confident in the pick. I loved the story. Now we're here 5 games later, and the story, Joel seems to love this story. Who could have done it besides them, right? The story seems great. Dels, you guys had 2 great games. I won't knock it. They played amazing.
Pretty perfect.
You guys were great. Perfect. Damn near perfect. Miami wasn't good. You guys got back to that defense that you looked like you had last year. Offensively, you guys got it going. Jason Tatum was on point. Marcus Smart was on point. Derek Wright was amazing. I give credit where credit is due. But we cannot forget how Miami played those first 3 games. And I think that's something that they can still tap into. Now, going into Game 6, the pressure's all on them. I think it's pressure on Boston, but I think it's way more pressure on the team that was obviously up 3-0. The whole noise of them not being a better team went away after 3 games. You were up 3-0. At that point, you look like the better team. The pressure's on you. You lose 2 straight. Now you're going home to Game 6. The pressure's on Spo. The pressure's on Jimmy. It's been on Jimmy ever since he's been tweeting and Instagramming, going crazy, as deserved. Now you got all this hype about you, about being this great player in the postseason, all this. Now the hype is real. The pressure's there. And I think the way that you guys adjusted in terms of breaking the 2-3 zone that Miami has been giving teams death for a long, long time. You guys have figured that out. I think that's important. I think the next step is, what is Spo going to counter with? I think with the team he has right now, he doesn't have many counters, but he's been giving you guys hell for the most part for back-to-back seasons. Now, what can he give you in Game 6 that you guys haven't seen? You guys have seen each other for so long. You guys pretty much know each other. What can he do? What can Bam and Jimmy do? And I think at this point, this is a do or die for them. I think Game 6, they're going to come out to play, and I'm not worried at all. You thought I was worried. You thought I was puzzled.
You're taking that Jimmy Butler approach. Like, we're not worried. We're going to sit back, have some beers and wine, listen to music.
I've never been worried in my life.
Okay.
I never fear.
Never.
Game 6.
What I find so interesting about Riv.
Talk to me.
Is that, man, Clippers eliminated in the first round. Cavs eliminated in the first round.
Oh, no, he's not.
The Warriors eliminated in the
He's not
second
doing this
round.
to you.
Oh,
And you know
man.
what? Riv thought he was safe. All 11 of his teams were out. And he said, you know what? I'm riding the 8th seed. Out of all teams, the 8th seed, they're going to do it.
Good story.
But guess what? They're going to be out too. So 12 teams total that Riv has rooted for will be eliminated.
Half of them aren't good.
This ain't my team.
Teams are 0
I don't know, bro. You
150.
edited the tweet. You edited the tweet and you had the Miami. I don't
It's
listen,
trolling. It's trolling.
Rav. You can't just always take the trolling route.
It's Twitter. We have fun. It's Twitter. We have fun.
Teams are 0 and 150 when trailing 0-3. It's about to be 1 and 150. The Celtics are coming back, and they're going to win this series. Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart said, don't let us get one. Jimmy Butler has been making a lot of guarantees this season. I'll give him props because very early on when they were struggling, he said the Heat would still win the championship. And a part of me is like, you know what? I kind of believe Jimmy to an extent. A very little part of me, because we know he can turn it up. But ultimately, the guarantee he made after the Game 5 loss,
Did you believe him?
when he said, somewhat,
I don't believe you.
somewhat,
Not a chance in hell.
at the time when he said it, no. But as this playoff run went along, I'm like, you know
might be on
what?
some shit.
Okay,
Damn
that's
it.
different. That's different.
After Game 5 losing, he said, we'll win Game 6. He said they're going to win this series. No, he's not. Jimmy Butler is not. He's not winning this series.
He wasn't supposed to win the next one.
And how fitting
One's supposed to win the
will
Bucks
it
one.
be
Wasn't
for
supposed to
one
beat
of
the
the
Bulls.
best playoff performers of our generation to blow the first 3-0 lead in NBA history?
No, it would be
Oh, a
nasty.
lot of people are going to have to do some answering to those nasty takes, because people act like Jimmy Butler's career was just 4 years in Miami. No, he had a career before that. I'll acknowledge in Miami, he's been nothing short of a superstar, but his career has been longer than that.
Yeah.
So let's respect other players who have had
Like
better
who?
resumes for a longer time. I'm not getting into that right
Who?
now.
Like who?
But the Heat will blow the first 3-0 series lead in NBA history. And I will say this, to the Heat's credit, no Tyler Hero, no Victor Oladipo. That definitely changes this series
Gabe
a lot.
Vincent.
No Gabe Vincent now. So the fact they made it this far, very impressive. But my goodness, Celtics coming back, this was best case scenario I could have asked for. I love this story. This is a better storyline than the AC making the ECF.
This is that's okay. I know you want to go. I really do.
Go ahead, man.
But
I'm
the
having fun.
hating from the left side of me is just
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
nasty.
It is.
They went from getting smoked by Atlanta in a play-in game, coming into the playoffs, beating the Bucks.
Almost lost to the Bulls in that second game.
Don't forget,
Yeah.
92-89 with like 4 minutes left. They were holding on for dear life. Went on a run.
As one of your teams got eliminated in there,
Yeah,
too.
I don't want to bring up your teams. I'm just going to continue to talk about the Heat. Then they went on to the Bucks. They beat the best player in the world. They beat the best player in the world, and Jimmy outperformed the best player in the world and destroyed the best perimeter defender in the league.
To the point where people started to say,
But
is
boy,
he overrated
he
now?
talked about after the post, I might retire after this contract. That's how bad he destroyed him. And then goes to the second round. You picked the Knicks. You 100% picked the Knicks.
Am I gonna pick against my team? I'm sorry. I thought they would win regardless.
You picked
but
the
even
Knicks.
if I thought there was some
and
doubt,
you
I would
lost.
still pick the Knicks.
You lost. You
picked the
lost
Knicks,
6
too.
games.
I
You
thought
lost
it
in
was
6
better.
games. Jimmy
picked
missed
the
the game.
Knicks.
I sure did, and that's when the story stopped. That's when I remembered the story. The hating from you is nasty. Just respect the Heat.
It's not hate. All I said was, Dels, can I ask you
Now,
a question?
also, not just respect Jimmy Butler. Trying to throw this whole narrative on just Jimmy Butler.
And then throwing the
He-
shade as if James Harden. I know you talking about
yeah,
James
yeah,
Harden.
that's
Jimmy
exactly
Jimmy
what
Butler's
he's
got to
talking
show
about.
off these next 2 games.
Jimmy's last
100%.
Jimmy Butler's having a
100%.
stinker
Jimmy's
like game
last
5.
4 years with Miami rivals James Harden's career in the playoffs. And I know you hate that, but it's just a fact.
Did he face
And,
Golden State
He
fully
didn't
powered?
need to. He faced the Bucks. You
Did
know
he
what he
face
did to the
Golden State
Bucks?
fully-
You know what he
That's
did to Drew
the
Holiday?
Bucks, a team that you think they're frauds.
You didn't think they were frauds.
You thought
They're
they
not
were.
frauds.
I didn't think they were
They're
frauds.
Now,
not
Dels, I want to
frauds.
ask you this question. All I said was,
You thought they're frauds.
What's a better storyline, right? What's a better storyline?
The 8th
The
seed.
8th seed making the conference finals, or the first
finals.
team to ever come back from an 0-3 deficit?
Got it.
This is
3-0's
wait,
comebacks.
wait,
Got it.
no.
Keep it a buck.
We've never seen NBA history.
The 8th seed losing a play-in game, then going to the playoffs, making the finals is not a better story than the number 1 team, number 2 team in the East going down to the 8th seed 3-0 and then coming back. That makes sense to you?
If they complete the first ever comeback,
So
the first
it's
ever
a better-
0-3
it's a
comeback in
better-
NBA history,
that's a-
that is
Especially
better.
after that,
it's
especially
easy
after
for y'all
that
to
game
say,
3
yeah.
where we get
It's not
smoked.
easy. Not
Where
for
we get
me.
smoked.
Yeah, so look, wait, you didn't exceed expectations. You went down 3-0. You fumbled yourselves. Then you had to crawl out the mud to do it. And Miami's been having to crawl out the mud for 2 months. That's the better story?
I
You see
think
what
so.
type
You're
of hating
making,
is
you're
going on?
making
Well,
NBA
you're a Celtics
history.
fan, so
You're making
you know
NBA
what?
history doing it.
What Miami is too.
It's been done before.
They have.
I guess.
It has
I mean,
been done.
By the Knicks.
Hey, the Heat are a
Respect
great
them.
story
this is
regardless.
insane.
It's tough,
It's
dude.
tough to say just outright.
No,
yeah,
no,
they're-
no.
they're
I'm
an
not going to
8th
sit here and
seed.
say immediately.
Okay,
But I think
we
I
might
mean the
be getting
Celtics.
ahead of ourselves. But who would be a better finals matchup, Nuggets Heat or Nuggets Celtics? If the Heat make this comeback, or if the Heat go to the finals, 8 seed, and then they go to Denver and they lose in 5, are we like, what a story? Or it's like, no, they got smoked out.
Yeah, we know the Heat are going to get smoked out in the finals.
Wait,
if
so
they
what?
face
But
Denver
what if you
anyway.
guys lose? We're gonna say what a
Last-
story.
Boston is
I'm
not getting
asking-
smoked.
here.
No, I'm asking.
Boston's not getting smoked.
I'm asking.
Boston
which
is not
would be a
getting
better
smoked.
matchup
Put
for
the
Denver.
jinx
That's
on
why.
the Nuggets.
That's what
But
I'm
if
saying.
you make the finals, we would say, well, you were supposed to be here.
I agree.
If the Heat make the finals, we say this is a magical
after going
story.
down 3-0, we're supposed to be here?
I mean, they still had y'all projected
Nah,
to win
that's a
games,
fact.
bro.
He's right.
You win games, yes, but not
No,
the
in the
series.
in
they
the
still had
series,
you
they still
projected
had y'all
the
projected to
series.
win games. And
No,
y'all-
no, that's
y'all-
ESPN analytics on some bullshit. If you go to a sports book and actually try to bet, we were heavy underdogs to try to win the series when we're down 3-0.
I mean, because it's never been done. But the Miami Heat, if you touch down on when they was AFC, they were heavy
Of
underdogs
course,
to make
but
the
I don't
finals.
want some ESPN analytics shit saying we have a 75%
All right, I'm
chance
with
to
you.
win
Fuck
because we know
ESPN.
it's bullshit.
I mean, the 97-3 before the series
Was
was
also
nasty.
stupid as fuck.
It was nasty.
I mean, this happened.
Let me ask you guys a question. Coming into this series, would have you been surprised if the Celtics swept the Heat?
Yes.
Yes.
I would have been surprised.
If they beat them in 5?
Yes.
They went 6 games
Like,
with
not
the
as surprised
Hawks.
as 4-0,
They
but I
went
would be like,
down 3-2 to Philadelphia. They almost lost.
Yeah, if they went 4-2 with the Hawks. They wasn't.
Call me
beating
crazy.
And then they
Heat
go
in
3-0
5
down.
games.
Like, you
Yeah.
can't tell me that before the series. I would have been shocked if it would have
We
been a
can't sweep
sweep from
anybody.
the
I-
No.
Call me
Except the Nets last
crazy.
year.
Yeah, not good.
But I look at Boston
fuck?
and I
The
look
Nets
at
did that.
Miami and I say if Boston plays to their potential, they can win 4
That's
games
the
in a
thing.
row.
Correct. But
Okay,
Boston-
and that's
Boston-
why I think
Boston
they're
does
going to
not
win the
play to
series.
the
All right,
potential.
all right, yes.
The potential
If
shit's
Boston
dead. Yeah, it
finally, for some reason, decides to play 4
They've
straight
been doing
games
it for the
of
last 2 games.
Yeah,
and they
they
can
have,
continue
yes.
doing
But
it.
that's
do
the
it- you gotta do
problem.
it for
They
2
will.
more.
They have never shown us
They
that they
lack
can do that for 4 straight
consistency.
games.
For sure.
They lack
They do.
And
consistency.
Dels, you had the stat. Open threes, first 3 games. Heat 20 for 37, 54%.
He's been eating
Celtics
this one
14
up
for
ever since you gave it to
43,
him.
33%. Celtics were just missing open shots. Now that they're making
Heat-
them,
but the Heat
now
didn't
that
take many
now
threes
when
in
it's
game
when
2.
it's game time, now when the Celtics know they got to turn up and they got to really win this series, they've been doing because there ain't no way to let Jimmy
I know,
Butler
Rick,
beat them.
the
No way.
Celtics were taking more open shots and still made less open shots than the Heat.
No, but I'm saying the 3-point number is amazing. But in game 2, the Celtics made more threes.
I
than the
understand,
Heat.
but the first 3 games,
Yes,
the
yeah,
Heat took less
combination,
and still made more.
well, the game 3 was just an ass whooping. I just
was.
came out.
Game 2,
Flat.
I believe. What was the percentage for each team?
They only I
They
think
were
you said
both
made
low.
9 or 10
The
threes,
Heat made 9. The Celtics made 10. That was just straight mid-range layup, food.
It was
Jimmy.
it was a low-ish
It was a low scoring game. So
107.
I mean, like the 3-point discrepancy is the first game was probably nasty, the nasty one.
This is going to add to Jason Tatum's legacy right here.
You needed to
These
because
next 2
if
games.
Jimmy does this, goes to the finals, you'll be upset. And if
Not
Jimmy,
really. They'll just lose anyway.
I'll tell you what, man. He's saving face with the Kawhi Leonard debate. He is saving face.
Tatum's a
Jason
three.
oh yeah,
Jason Tatum.
facts.
Yeah.
He's
it's
been.
been-
Did you
been
see?
balling.
I think John was on Rudy's podcast. I'm diving deep.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And he had the question: who has the most 40-point games in the playoffs? Do you know who's number 1 between Jimmy Butler, Chris Paul, Kawhi Leonard, Jason Tatum?
Tatum.
Jason Tatum in significantly less time, and he has significantly more than all. He has 19 40-point games in the playoffs.
I think he has more games logs than like Jimmy Butler though.
Is that yours?
in the playoffs.
I don't know if
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, I mean he's been in the
I
play. He's
think
been in
he
the
has more
ECF
games
damn near
logged.
every
And I
year of
think
his career.
Kawhi
except
has missed like 2-3.
Chris
years
Paul's been in
before.
the league for 17, 18 years, whatever it is. You have Jimmy Butler, who's been
Why
in
do
the
you use
playoffs
Chris Paul?
because he's been in the league long.
forever. Yeah.
That's why.
Well,
He's
Tatum,
not a scorer.
They're making long playoff run after long playoff.
And you know
run his whole
Kawhi's not
career.
a scorer either, but he's obviously a playoff great.
What you mean?
He's not like a 40 prolific scorer.
That's
like
because
that.
Jimmy just started doing this in Miami. James
What's
Harden has
Kawhi's
more.
excuse?
James Harden has more 30-point and 40-point playoff games than Jimmy Butler. He has more playoff wins than Jimmy Butler.
yep.
But somehow this 4-year stretch just undermines everything this guy's ever done.
Well,
in his career.
because
I don't understand
in
it.
4 years,
Yeah,
James Harden has put up stinker.
and everybody loves to talk about
stinker.
recency bias. There's a ton of recency bias with what Jimmy Butler has been doing.
It's been the last 3 years. That's a good amount of time, bro.
It's
3
not
years
going
is
to
a
happen next
good-
year. I'll guarantee you that.
What's-
It ain't happened 1 out of 4
What's
years.
Harden gonna do next year?
I don't know. What
nothing.
team is going to be
Again,
on?
like-
what team is
Because
he
you
going to
keep
be
trying to
on?
Jimmy Butler's not
comparison.
your favorite
No,
player.
no.
The-
But
the-
he's throwing slight at Jimmy Butler when he's obviously defending the Miami Heat.
That's
I
true.
get
But
it.
he's more of a Bam guy than a Jimmy
love
Butler
Bam.
guy.
Series is
Well,
coming
let's-
down to 3 things. It's going to be who hits more 3-point shots. Each team has to limit turnovers because Miami turnovers killed them in Game 5.
Facts.
And it's just which stars show up. To me, I am trusting Tatum and Brown.
Never thought I'd see this day.
And
ever in
Derek
my
White.
life. What's
Derek
going
White,
on?
victory.
Hey,
that
listen, man,
Christian Wood, Derek White debate. We didn't forget that, buddy.
We did not.
You
didn't.
literally, you know
wasn't
what?
even here.
No, he texted me, and he said they're bugging for taking White over Christian Wood. He texted me, so the fact that he flipped
real
on
new.
me,
Yeah,
He
I mean,
don't
come
know.
he
on, bro.
flipped
What are
on
we
me
doing?
just now
What are we
is
doing?
insane. But
Derek White.
the Game 6 Heat stuff is real. I expect Jimmy to show up, man. I think Jimmy's gonna have a big game.
And I also get that we're talking about the Celtics offense because, of course, they've missed a lot of open shots. That's very uncharacteristic of the Boston Celtics and essentially all season long, one of the league's best offenses. But really what's changed the way that we're projecting this series now is the level of defense that we're seeing from the Boston Celtics. They had their season high of steals. I believe they had 13 steals last night. Last night, where Marcus Smart was amazing. Even the Jaylen Brown, the guy who can't defend any passing lanes, is a bad off-ball defender, is a bad on-ball defender, not a great playmaker. Saw him making some solid passes yesterday. Has his best game of the season when his back's against the wall in an elimination game. Jaylen Brown.
At you, Riff.
So that's really what it comes down to. It's this Celtics defense seems more locked in, seems more focused. And when you are locked in defensively, it immediately translates to the offensive side of the ball because you have a little bit more confidence on your side. We're seeing Derek White be consistent. He's been one of their most consistent players all ECF long. Now maybe Jaylen Brown starts to wake up. Jason Tatum has been, for the most part of this series, very, very good. And if Jaylen Brown can get it together, that's really what's been the difference in this series. Jaylen Brown not being himself. And Malcolm Brogdon, he had an injury yesterday. We don't know his status for the upcoming game. But Grant Williams coming in and giving great minutes this series. He's been knocked down himself also. The defense that he's been playing as well. This Boston Celtics, Joel said it very well, that Mazzulis in the press conference said, the assistant said, you have 9 months in a season. You have one bad week. You don't want to have the bad week in the Eastern Conference Finals. That is absolutely not ideal. But once you realize, hey, we're the Boston Celtics. We've been one of the best teams offensively and defensively this year. We just need to play our style of basketball. Let's not press. We're stressing way too much about the little things. Let's just play our brand of basketball, and they should be all right. And Game 6, this is the series.
Yeah.
This is the series. If Miami Heat want to win, it is Game 6 because I promise you if it goes 7, there is no way I could bet on the Celtics losing.
Celtics are 9-10 at home.
That's
not good.
That's
Not
the
good.
one silver lining if you are a
In
Miami
the last
Heat fan.
2 or 3 playoffs, I believe. I think it's
They
the last
have
2 playoffs.
the Boston Celtics have struggled at home, surprisingly. Against Philadelphia, they dropped two games against them. They've lost the 2 games to start this series to the Miami Heat. That's the one silver lining, the saving grace if you're a Miami Heat fan. But momentum is real. And if you lose that Game 6 in Miami, because Miami has a great home court, they do. But if they lose that Game 6, I don't see a way that
You
the
did
Celtics
not
do
pick
not
a
win.
winner, buddy.
I said the Celtics. I'm taking the Celtics.
Oh, you're taking the Celtics?
Come
But
back.
that Game 6 is Miami Heat's best chance to win, even still.
Because then
I
the
think-
pressure's really on.
I think Boston is the basketball that we've seen them play the last 2 games has been some of the best basketball that we've seen out of
But
the
you look
Boston
at
Celtics.
it, going 3-1. Ironically, the lead that Steph Curry blew in the finals, 20.
Kevin Durant blew the same lead.
Not in the finals.
Yeah, he blew it to the guy who lost in the finals.
Not as bad as the finals. Finals is worse.
Yeah, because he can't get there.
I don't know. That guy who blew the 3-1 lead not in the finals ended up joining that team. So
And then he
was
got
ugly.
2 Finals MVP from that.
And then he
was
got
best player on
swept to
the-
the
he was best player on
Celtics, the
those
team that
teams.
Steph beat.
and yeah, that same year.
Exactly same year. Actually had a historical performance.
beat
Let him be.
barely.
Now we've
Well, he was
seen
by himself.
some great playoff performances and runs this postseason. Nikola Jokic making the finals, Denver's first appearance in their franchise history. Jimmy Butler, what he's doing with an 8 seed. What Tatum and the Celtics could possibly complete. Right now, what we're going to do, we're going to blindly rank the best playoff runs of the last 20 years. And the first thing, I'm going to name 5 playoff runs. You're going to try to rank them 1 to 5 and see where, yes.
I like that. All right, we're gonna come together and agree to
I
this.
like
All
this.
you
I
guys
like
have to come
this.
together and agree. Number
I'm just
1,
looking up James Harden's last 5
Oh my
years.
gosh.
oh, get over it.
Jesus Christ.
Get over it.
I'm about to talk. Oh my god.
Because you know James Harden's about to
He
be
should
here.
have never done this. Now I'm about to cook. Just go ahead. Just
You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
keep
We got
waffling.
lock in.
First playoff run up is 2019 Kawhi.
Okay.
You said this is out of 5, correct?
Out of 5.
Yes.
Last 20 years.
Last 20
Wait,
years.
wait.
So we're not going to know what comes next. So we just have to put it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
In the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Where
I'll go
does
f- I'll go
2019
f-
Kawhi rank?
Easy. Do not say 4.
Yeah.
Do not say 4.
I'm thinking of. I have shit in my brain.
Now, there's a few. All right. Can we agree on 3?
3 is safe.
No, 3 is too safe.
I think that's
I
why
think
we have
could,
to
we
play.
can find 2.
Because it was great. The
Two
only
worse.
thing
No,
that people
I'm
like to
not-
tarnish
you
it
know
is
what?
because of the finals.
No. I'm going 4.
But why?
I'm
20 years? We got 20 years of guys.
That means, do you think there's better playoff runs?
No, I
Four-
think there
3
are.
more.
I think there's 3 more.
think there are, but I feel like 3. I can live with another
I
one.
think there's 3 more better. You want to go? You guys want?
Joel, what do you think?
I'm trying to think off my
Can
head.
we talk to each other? Like, can
Yes,
we talk about that?
yes.
Okay,
You know,
so-
20 years. Okay, I
Look,
think
look,
4.
you
Yes.
got,
'cause-
he's gonna say D Wade.
yeah, he's gonna
Of
say
course.
He's
Bron.
gonna say Dirk. He's gonna say Braun.
Yeah.
He might.
All right.
No,
I said
that's
four
fine.
safe.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
4 safe.
Level-headedness.
four.
I'll go 4.
2017 Kevin Durant.
What the?
Are we going 5?
Not top 5.
Are we going?
This is where
Honorable
this ranks
mention.
on the list.
Because he might not even have the 3 best that we're
All right,
thinking.
I'm
He could
thinking
just have
5.
some, he could
think
have
Steph
fucking
last year was better.
2021 Steph.
All right, let's just do 5.
No, we just named 4 better.
No, bro.
You have to rank these that I'm talking
Yes.
about.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
We'll go
this is
5.
5. This is
Okay.
5.
Yes, this
okay,
is
okay.
5.
This guy would name Kevin Durant.
2006 Dwayne Wade.
That's 1 for
2?
me.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
I feel
mad.
like
The
there's
LeBron,
a chance to be 1.
Yes, because the
I
LeBron,
just go 2.
2.
Okay.
All right, 2.
2011 Dirk.
1
I guess you have to put this
Yeah.
one. Was Dwayne Wade more impressive than Dirk?
in the finals.
Yeah, what,
He
like
was.
36.
But Dirk's, we're talking run.
Yeah,
so
the
the
run was
total
OD.
run.
Total
so
run.
Yeah, I'll go Dirk in 1.
Okay.
All right, I
so
can't
unless this
argue.
is
So,
the LeBron one.
This right now you have
If I hear 20,
number 1 you have Dirk, number 2 you have D Wade,
Yeah.
number 4 is Kawhi, number 5 is KD.
correct.
The last one remaining
KD
is
wouldn't fuck me.
2016 LeBron.
Oh yeah, okay, that's fine. LeBron at 3.
You know what? Fine, because the run itself wasn't really. It was that finals that really was the telltale.
Yeah.
The real hardship.
And
to get there was easy.
And the 2 in front of him are respectable runs. It's not like we're putting
Yeah.
nobody's in
I'm
front of
fine
him.
with that.
That's fine.
All
See,
right.
it's like-
Well done.
I said
Well
4
done.
safe.
I like that.
Well done.
I like that.
Why'd you add KD?
I had to throw in one at 5.
A little gimme.
Little hench.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, did
The
you
2021 Steph Curry run.
way better.
think I was gonna place that instead of the 2006 Wade one.
Of course.
I like the Wade
2006
one.
Wade one was just so.
Yeah, it's just really OP. So yeah, those are you guys did a good job. I thought you guys ranked it pretty good.
I think we bodied it.
I could
so
say
too.
that 26 LeBron, just based on that finals, could have been 1 though.
You
Yeah.
could-
I just didn't know which LeBron you were gonna name.
yeah, I didn't know which one either.
You could have went 2012 LeBron.
But the
you
run,
could have went when LeBron lost.
the
I'll be
run
honest.
itself was not that hard. To get to the finals was pretty easy.
That really is.
It was that finals itself that was, oh God, we're down 3-1. How the hell are we gonna come back from this? Kid from Akron, man.
Now, Adam Silver recently was on a podcast with Steven Jackson, and
KG.
Even Jackson.
oh, my bad, Kevin Garnett. They both worked for Showtime. I got it mixed up. Adam Silver believes the NBA became too physical in the late 90s and felt like in the late 90s they had to remove the hand check because Adam Silver said it de-emphasized a particular skill a player had and used Steph Curry as an example and his ability to move through the paint. If players could just knock him down to the ground, it wouldn't be a better brand of basketball. Now, the question I have to you is, do you think that the removal of hand checking has led to a better NBA? Do you think that the NBA right now is at a point where you want more physicality or you like how it is currently?
So, personally, I am a fan of both sides being exciting. And in my opinion, it is really emphasized that offense is the most important and most crucial part of basketball.
Money.
And I'm fine with it to a degree, but I like physical defense. I'm not a fan of these ticky-tack fouls. I understand everyone's going to say, oh, bro's a Laker fan. How is he going to say this? The reason why they had success was because of these ticky-tack fouls. I'm not going to say I was in support of it. Sure, we benefited from it, but I wasn't in support of it. I'm not a huge fan of the way that they call technical fouls nowadays. 100% right. The physicality in today's game is nowhere near what it used to be. But to a degree, Adam Silver is right. Steph Curry would not be the Steph Curry that we see today in that time because Steph Curry's game is running around the court, running off screens, getting himself open. One of the best, let me not say one of, he is the best without the basketball by far this game's ever seen. And hand checking allows athleticism to be heightened on the offensive side of the ball where it is a lot easier to drive on lanes. It's a lot easier to post up and get to the basket. Back in the day, that's what I was watching an interview, and we're going to talk about, maybe we'll talk about Scottie Pippen a little bit later based off some comments that he made today that were a little outlandish. Scottie was saying how the removal of hand checking took him out of the league because there was guys that were simply just faster, more athletic, were just able to get to the rim quicker than he was able to recover. And why he said that it was so hard for him because the way that he came into the league and the way that he played defense for 95% of his career was these guys were trying to come down and post you up, and you were just able to put your forearm and bump them off of you. That's why Scottie Pippen is one of the best defenders this game's ever seen as well. He understood that. He took advantage of it. The Bulls took advantage of that. Basically, that entire dynasty was built off that brute, hard-nosed defense. So, yes, I believe that taking the physicality out of the game, in my opinion, as someone who likes watching both sides have a strong impact, has lessened it. But Adam Silver is not wrong by saying offense is now heightened. It has allowed players to maximize their athleticism, but only on the offensive side of the ball.
I think I'm a little bit with Drew here. I do think the hand checking did require guys with less skill, less talent on the defensive end to be able to stick with the other guys. But I also do think it's a bit of the refs' fault too. I think the hand checking, you could take it out. It's fine. It opened up the offensive game and allowed more offense. That helped the NBA because the scores were low. And you needed more offense, and that's fine. The NBA is great when teams are scoring that high. But I do think it's more blame on the refs with the ticky-tacks. And even though he brought up Steph, Steph still gets grabbed on off ball. He still gets grabbed, hacked, and all that stuff. That still happens. But it's the one-on-one defense. I think taking the hand check away has kind of allowed offense to be a little bit easy in a sense where defensive guys kind of have the disadvantage. They kind of always, you can't really stay in front of these already talented guys, and then the rules aren't helping you as much as you want them to. No. I think there can be a healthy medium in between. I think may not be hand checking, could be something else, or the refs letting them get a little bit more physical. But I do think the hand checking rule inevitably was the good move for the NBA, especially with the way evolution is, and it was transcending to a different way. So I think you had to get rid of it at one point in the NBA, and I think it was the right time to do it.
When I look at these new rule changes, I understand wanting it heightened offensive basketball, but I do think that we've gotten to a point where we know what philosophy and style of basketball wins, and every team is copying that style and brand of basketball. And these playoffs has kind of further proved that, and that's three-point shooting and spacing. So Steven now, he works for Sporting News, and he wrote an article about how many, he basically referenced in his article how many playoff games are won when a team shoots better from three. So there have been 77 playoff games this season. Teams that shot better from three are 61-15.
Are we looking just at percentage or made threes? Do you know?
Percentage.
Okay.
They're 61-15. That's a huge discrepancy. That basically means if you have better three-point shooters and reliable ones in the playoffs, because you look at a team like the Kings, who their best three-point shooters were unable to make threes in the playoffs, they drop down. But if you have good three-point shooting and they are reliable, you can win multiple playoff series. And I do feel like the NBA is better when there's different brands and styles of basketball that can all win. Right now, it is a three-point revolution. There is spacing involved. And although Adam Silver did mention Steph Curry in this, I think Steph Curry gets one of the worst whistles in the league, quite frankly. I think he gets one of the worst whistles. Whenever he drives, they hardly call any fouls. He gets grabbed all the time. And maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but I do think he would have been successful in the 90s era. Maybe he's not a top point guard, and even then, I don't know why he can't be. If you had a player like John Stockton be that decade's glory boy at point guard,
that's true.
I don't know why Steph Curry couldn't be that. Even if he had to play differently and not off the ball as much, I think that on the ball, he would have been just as good. I think the counterpoint you can make to that is, well, in that NBA, they weren't shooting as many threes. So if Steph Curry was not relying on shooting 10 plus threes a night, is he that type of player? That's like a different thing, and that's more so to do with the philosophy of the offensive basketball
and changed that idea.
But I think that's the thing. Like when you talk about like putting a guy in a different era, how does Steph learn? Where did he get it from? If he was in the 80s or the 90s, where would he have learned what he learned now to get better in that? So that's where the difference is. Like Steph may have not been what Steph could be if he didn't have the back end of the NBA to learn from and his pops and stuff like that. So, but I do agree with you. He can play in the 80s.
No, he definitely could. But the immediate thought is him running off ball, the screens. He's getting tossed on some of them, and these defenders
Richard Jefferson came out and said we were hacking and fouling him in 2016. They did not call it.
I also think that if Mark Jackson was still the Warriors head coach, we're seeing Steph play on the ball so much more. I think Steve Kerr really implemented that system, and that's what led to Curry playing off the ball so much. If you do put Curry in a different era, hypothetically, there have been players his size that have averaged 20-plus points per game. So I don't think it would be crazy to say that Steph can do it in that era.
Agreed.
In my opinion, the sweet spot for basketball, and this is just my opinion, was the late 2000s, early 2010s era.
Yeah,
that's
like
what I grew
08
up
to
on. That's what I liked.
14.
I liked an NBA where when you score 20 points per game, that meant you were one of the premier scorers in the league. You get the 25 to 29 range, you're one of the MVP candidates. You're in it for the scoring title. I think right now we have like 30 to 40 players scoring 20 a game.
20,
and it's become less of a rarity. Now almost every player that has high usage is scoring that. And I do like an NBA where there's less players scoring an exorbitant amount of points.
Yeah, there's a balance too. Even Adam Silver said it, like, fans still appreciate hard physical defense. And Riv, I think you made a great point. It really is on these refs. And we talk about, or maybe not us specifically, but there really is two different seasons of the NBA. When you have regular season, you have playoff basketball. And I think during the regular season, I think it's fine if you want to have those ticky-tacky calls, especially because you have 82 games. You're already just putting your body through hell already. So the NBA wanting to make money from TV, protecting their stars, I have no problem with them, being a little lenient there when it comes to those foul calls and protecting their guys, because at the end of the day, you want them to be healthy. But once you get into the playoffs and you have these ticky-tacky calls that go either way that can decide series, and especially the technical fouls where, for the most part, there's some that are obvious, but there's some that are just on the referee either getting pissed off. They want to make them the star of the show. I mean, we saw it just yesterday. I think it was in the first quarter. Tatum drives through, gets the dunk. Lowry's holding him. He doesn't get a foul call, and he hangs on the rim for like 3 or 4 seconds, comes up, starts complaining, and he gets tech for it. Right? That did not seem something that was so over the top that needed to be a tech, be called a technical foul. But it was, and that's something you have to look at and say, like, is that something the referee has to make a call on, or can we just move past it? But I think for the NBA going forward, defense is always going to be second to offense. I think we see this in football too, with, offense just drives ratings. At the end of the day, they're trying to make money, and they are a business. So if they're able to find maybe a better balance where hopefully not every year you're breaking a record when it comes to offensive rating, like it seems like every single year they have the highest rating in NBA history. Well, it's just because a year has passed, and, every year it feels like it goes that way. But there has to be a balance here. Adam Silver knows that they just, and we saw too that they might be implementing a rule that next year if you get caught flopping, then the team gets free throws. So that could be in another step.
The thing about the rules is,
takes it away.
Are they consistent? They're never consistent.
And that's
with
what
the
everyone
rules.
wants. That's what all players want. If you're able to be consistent, we see it in baseball too. Like, okay, if you're an umpire and you're calling high strikes, you could call high strikes, but just call it the whole game. Yeah. I think people want to see
or
that
if, like, say for example, you the 10-time All-Star, Drew's a rookie, I got to call it the same way regardless of what type of stain you got.
And the shit that's been terrible this playoff specifically has been they will wait to call a foul to see if the shot goes in.
Oh, yeah,
or
if
not.
you go in, they're not calling
I feel like this has been the most blatant
if
I
you
have
miss,
seen.
all right.
If you miss, it's a foul. If you make it, keep it going. It's ugly.
It's on the refs, man. But at the same time, I like the players also can't complain every single chance they get. Like, that's a tough job too. So we got to keep it fair 50-50. That's a tough job they have to manage.
And refs don't want to hear that.
Nah, they don't.
Every single play you're driving to the rim, someone's complaining about a foul. Whether you didn't get the foul or the person who committed it is saying, how is that a foul?
And refs are human, so they're probably seeing the same complaints.
And get emotional.
They're seeing all the shit talking we're doing, the fans, the players. That's why they get on the fines.
That's why you got burner accounts.
Mm-hmm. So
I think
it's tough, man.
We've gotten to a point where new offensive rating records is going to become a thing of the norm, because ultimately, like, these teams have hired a bunch of analytic teams to figure out what best works and suits their basketball team. So even the Nuggets this year, they had the second best offensive rating. The Kings were number 1. They're right now actively working on how to make the offenses more efficient for next season. And as things keep evolving, and we know that three-point shooting is efficient. That's the model of efficiency if you can make them. It's just going to be heightened. I don't think we're going to go back to an era where we have all-around play. I think that, it's going to be a ton of three-point shots, a ton of drives, trying to get to the free throw line, sprinkled in with some mid-range. But for the most part, I think every team is trying to play one way.
And I think that's what used to be the beauty of basketball back in the late 2000s, early 2010s. Like, you had that sort of style. Whether you had Orlando and Dwight, you had Kobe in the Lakers, you had LeBron in Cleveland. You had that, right? Or Paul Pierce. But then you get to the playoffs, and then it gets slow. And then you got the guys getting in the mid-range. You got the guys in the post. You give it to your best player. You got the three-pointer. So it was so different to where you've seen all the multiple styles come up in the playoffs because the game gets slower. And I think that was the beauty of, like, the late 2000s. Even the early 2000s, that was just the beauty of the game before the three-point evolution.
I feel like that's why it's even more shocking that the Lakers went to the Western Conference Finals, because this was not a three-point shooting
the
team.
Heat, too, before the playoffs.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
But I feel like the
But the
difference
Heat
was
went
they
on the
took
run.
exactly. They started.
Yeah,
They
facts.
elevated their play from the 3-point line. The Lakers kind of were just they had been towards that second half of the regular season in the playoffs with that 3-point shot. But really, the only thing that translated that was quote unquote new was their approach to get to the foul line. That's what they took from the new modern NBA and tried to use to their advantage to win games.
It also starts from, like, high school, AAU. Like, it starts treat them like that young. Three-pointers, layups.
Facts.
Then they get up here, they're doing it again at a heightened age. So it's like, whew, I miss the grit and grind era with the Grizzlies and stuff, man. They weren't that great, but
I think when
They
it
were
comes
tough.
to Miami,
88 to 92.
we might see more
Hey, man.
teams that are lower seeds go further in the playoffs just because of the 3-point variancy. Because if you can catch fire within a stretch, within a couple week stretch, then you have a team like Miami who could make it so far. They made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. The Orlando Magic, they don't get enough credit for revolutionizing basketball early with their 4-out, 1-in
yep.
system. Dwight Howard just kicking it out to shooters because he was surrounded by shooters,
were
and
cheat coding
that
too,
was
bro.
one of the first teams to actually implement that style, and they had a lot of success with it.
Yeah.
Was that Rashid, Hito?
that was Turkoglu, Rashid. They had
Jameer Nelson,
Mikael
Michael
Petrus was in there.
Petrus,
JJ.
Courtney
was
Lee
there.
off the bench.
Follow.
Follow?
Afalo wasn't there.
I think he was there a year
Nah.
after.
Oh.
I think he was there the
Nah,
year after.
Afalo wasn't there until like they was ass.
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
I thought he was
yeah.
on Dwight's team, no?
No, I don't think he definitely was on the Dwight team. Who else he had? Was Brandon Bass on that team?
He might have been. I'm gonna check it right now.
I also want to correct what I said earlier about Tatum having 40 points. I said playoffs. I meant regular season.
Oh,
Yeah, Tatum has
Makes-
20.
yeah,
Yeah,
makes some
22.
that makes sense. Kawhi
19
doesn't play.
felt like a
No,
lot.
no.
Yeah.
That's why I said it. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
actually, we
Yeah,
just
Kawhi doesn't play.
spoke about it.
Yeah.
Jordan has the most with like 40 something.
Yeah.
So I had to make sure and check. No, it is regular season.
Also,
made
I
that
have the
mistake.
Harden Jimmy Stats.
Go ahead
It
while I
was-
was talking.
It
Oh,
was
never
Dwight
mind.
Howard, Rashard Lewis, Hito Turkoglu, Rafael Alston, Michael Petrus, Courtney Lee, and JJ Redick.
Oh, hot sauce.
Anthony Johnson got some minutes. Jameer Nelson was injured
Yeah.
this playoffs, and that was big. They could have maybe
Remember Chris
done a little bit
Duhon
more.
on the Knicks?
And the very next year, Orlando got Vince Carter, and they didn't do anything.
They lost in the first round. Wasn't that Dwight's back problem year?
No, they lost in the conference finals to Boston 4-2.
So it must have been the year after.
Yep.
Dwight started getting back problems.
You still need some defense, though.
No, they were a
know
great
we're-
defense.
I'm not saying about the Magic, but I'm just thinking now because, I mean, the Nuggets weren't a great defensive team. Especially
They were.
Yes, they were, but they had stretches, especially at the second
At the
half of the
end-
season. People they
in
kind
March,
of
in March.
they kind of went down.
What's considered a great defensive
top
team?
10.
No, I'm saying the rating is. I'm saying what's considered like a great defensive team now with all this high powered offense.
I think you need to have a point of attack defender.
You're saying like a team or like specific,
Like
like the Lakers.
if you
Obviously,
can give me,
were great.
like you can give me specific, like a team. I feel like a team that can hold you, like the Lakers were holding teams to low scoring games.
Even
That
though
would-
the Celtics last year.
Yeah,
were
I would
too.
consider those like, but I think a team who's like a great defense in this era is a team like, all right, you hold us like 115, you did a good job, but that's still like a lot of points.
That is-
Great
115 is a
defense in
lot.
this era, minus the Nuggets, because Jokic is an anomaly on offense. Is just having switchable defenders all around, point of attack defenders, rim protection.
Yeah.
I think that's what the Lakers had this year,
Yeah, no, fact. That's
And
what
a
I
lot
said.
of
They're
them
an elite
were
defense.
long, and strong.
and that's what Miami has too, and they've been able to go on
Right,
this
Rui,
run.
Can't disagree, man.
I think Miami doesn't have that though. I think Miami's more team orientated.
And they also have the best coach in the NBA.
Yeah, because they don't have like they have a POA defender, but it's not like
And you have a 5 that could switch.
yeah,
They
but
don't have all five. Yeah, I understand what
yeah,
you're saying.
they play a lot of guys that can't really defend. I'll be honest with you. They play a few of them at a time. A team defense at zone is really nasty.
We're gonna rank the top 5 head coaches.
Oh, you don't want me to name these stats?
Openings.
What's
What stats?
have?
Oh, but do you want to name the James Harden?
Yeah,
stats?
yeah.
Sure.
What
go
is
ahead.
this?
Since James Harden since Jimmy got to Miami, What you looking up, buddy? I got it here. Though you don't need to look it up.
Bro's
man.
got some in the stats.
No, I'm writing. I'm actually like right now. If you see me looking at my computer, I'm actually like writing down the timestamps for like.
Oh,
years.
of course,
okay.
of course, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
So since Jimmy's got the Miami, James Harden in the postseason, 22 points a game, 8 assists, 6 rebounds, 43% from the field, 35% from the three-point line, 87% from the free throw line. That's cool. Since Jimmy has got to Miami, 25 points a game, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 48% from the field, 34% from the three-point line, 83% from the free throw line.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
7 to 8 assists. That's kind of nuts.
Jimmy's one of one.
Because you think about James Harden, the playmaker nowadays, and obviously assist totals. The averages aren't everything. Obviously, the better playmaker is James Harden. It's not a question. But in terms of averages, I wouldn't have expected it to be that close.
Wait, so what is this? It's Jimmy Butler's entire Miami career.
Yeah, versus James Harden since
Just
Jimmy's got
regular
the.
and
No, this
regular
is just
season?
playoffs.
Oh,
So
this playoffs.
James Harden post Houston. There's
This Houston's in here.
1 year of Houston.
Let me see.
That's the year that he averaged 30 on against the team that he lost in
Yeah,
5.
he did.
Okay, so-
That's inflating the number.
To 22 points per game,
It's
23.
so the last.
Yeah,
it's the
because-
bubble. So OKC.
If you do James Harden's last 3 playoffs, so we're talking about in Philadelphia this year, Philadelphia last year, and Brooklyn 3 years ago, his playoff numbers are terrible.
Oh, so
There's no argument for
so
me.
he's
Wait,
been
but
dog
that
shit.
series against the Boston Celtics, that was MVP Harden.
No, yeah, he was amazing, but he got injured against the
But
Bucks.
then what about the year after?
a
I'm sorry,
minute-
bro. I didn't mean to hold your hand. The year after.
Okay, I have a rebuttal for everything you're
Got
mention.
it. Got it.
He's used to this.
Brooklyn Nets.
Forget about it. He got hurt. I'm
he
with you.
had he
Well, how
had
about
an
the year after?
MVP
Yeah, I remember.
series versus
Against
the
every
Celtics.
Fournier.
Versus
Walker.
the Bucks. You play 40.
Kemba
You
Walker.
play every minute on a grade 2 hamstring. His efficiency was horrible. No argument.
All right, let's go. Next series.
Did not get to rehab that offseason. No. Did not get to work out that
That's what it
offseason.
was. 'Cause
He had a
rehabbing.
rehab.
The playoffs were
He
like
was.
9
He never
months
was
after
able to
that
get in
offseason.
shape. He goes into the playoffs of Philadelphia, still learning how to play with Joel Embiid. He doesn't play well in the
Is
playoffs.
this Toronto or
Clearly
Miami?
out of shape. Toronto was okay. Miami, he had one great game against them, and then after that he wasn't good.
And then this year,
And against Toronto, he wasn't very good either. And then this year,
2 great
Brooklyn
games.
wasn't good, and then against Celtics,
2 great games.
Yeah,
3
2.
or 2.
2.
2 great games, and then the rest weren't good. So yeah, listen, no argument for me. Post 2019, Jimmy Butler is better in the playoffs, but I am not discounting what Harden has done from 2013 to 2018.
He-
do you want to group
They
2018
basically
and 20?
switched.
He was good against
Butler became the superstar,
OKC
Harden became
in the bubble.
a
He was good against
lesser-
OKC.
in
Like,
Houston.
So you want me to do? What
He
you,
had the game-winning block on Lou Dort. Defensive
congrats.
play.
So you want me to? What you want
He's
me to
a
do?
defender,
What you want me to do?
maybe.
19 to what?
No, 13
Dude,
to 18.
just measure.
Go 13 to 18.
No, just measure Houston Harden versus Miami Butler. They have it right there categorized on Basketball
No,
Reference.
don't worry.
too,
I'm here.
where you can have that.
So you want me to go all the way from? All right, here we go.
Just Houston Harden is going to be on the tab. You'll be able to name it. You want to name Jimmy Butler? I name James Harden. How about that?
I'm already on James Harden. I'm already got it. Oh, this is actually fucking insane.
Yeah,
28
I mean-
points a game, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, 42% from the field, 32% from the three-point line, 87% from the free throw line. He's still an efficient shot chucker.
the volume was just way high.
87% from the line.
Yeah, I said that.
That's
That was
good.
your greatest thing.
87%. That's the
He averaged
saving
28.
Yeah,
grace.
42%
It's like
from the
28,
field.
20 and 7, 20 and 8, right?
42 and 32, right?
Yes. That's elite. That's a,
poop. That's poop.
let me see, field goals. 20. So he made 8.
The PER is 24
I don't do the
for,
PER shit.
for James Harden.
I don't do PER, buddy.
57.8
important.
57.8% true shooting percentage. What was Jimmy's?
I don't know. He had a 20.8 game score for all those games, though. You'd like the game score and shit. Yeah.
The game score is, I think, is good. It's a good feature that they definitely have.
I am interested in the true shooting of Jimmy.
Let me see. 'Cause I just logged out of his.
James Harden was 57.8%
That's his true shooting?
in the
That's good.
playoffs.
That is good.
That's really
A
good.
lot of
Jimmy's
threes.
higher. It's 59.2.
He takes less threes.
It's
Makes sense.
59.2. And his PER was 25. His PER in Miami is 25.4 versus Harden's 24 flat.
Oh, so he was still better.
Maybe you can say slightly. Efficiency matters in PER a lot, so
Oh.
I understand why.
Don't you like PR, though?
Harden's facing way tougher.
Oh,
Jimmy-
there
When will this end?
There it
He's
is.
facing,
There's
he
an
was
excuse for
facing the
everything.
Warriors.
What
facing the
outside of the
Warriors.
Warriors, he played Utah. He played who else he
The
played?
Spurs.
Spurs.
Clippers, he
OKC.
came back.
Clippers. No, they came back. He wasn't in the game when they came back. One of those games.
Ouch.
Yeah, he wasn't. I think
Yeah,
it was,
but he had 31 in
30
game
and
7. He
seven, yeah.
sealed
it was a
it.
Josh Smith, Dwight Howard renewal. You know,
Got it.
Yeah, and then Manu blocked him.
Okay, so these are the teams that,
Hit 12
that they,
turnovers.
these are the teams that they faced in the playoffs.
He had 12.
That was like 10.
What, in versus Spurs?
Yeah.
11. Versus the Thunder, he faced the Thunder in 2013.
Yeah.
Trailblazers in 2014, that was the game-winning Dame shot. In 2015, he made the conference finals, faced the Mavericks, the Clippers, and the Warriors. Then in 2016, faced the Warriors in the first round. 2017, faced the Thunder and the Spurs. 2018, faced the T-Wolves, Jazz, and Warriors. 2019, the Jazz and Warriors. And then 2020, the Thunder and the Lakers.
Why are we having a hard one for Jimmy Butler debate?
I think we know why.
It never ends.
Never ends.
We're gonna be
This guy,
50 talking about James Harden.
he just loves talking about James Harden.
That was your fault, dude.
You just started. I tell you guys all the time. You
No,
started.
because you keep disrespecting James Harden.
I didn't say a word about James
You
Harden.
better hope
today.
he doesn't try to ring chase like
He needs
other
to.
star
No, I'm
players done in the
begging him
past.
for you.
I think
At this point, only
Where's
thing
he
he,
wherever
go?
he goes, he's gonna help a team win.
Where's he gonna go?
at this point he
Ring
needs
chase.
to ring. If he doesn't ring chase, how's he
I'm
gonna
not
get a ring?
sure. And I'm actually about to go a little bit in on not Harden, but just the Sixers.
We
Oh,
have-
because we're going to talk about the top 5?
Yes,
Oh, safe. Okay.
ranking the 5 best head coaching job openings. I have my top 5 list here,
I did too.
and I'm
make
not
mine.
sure if you guys gonna have something similar to me. I will just go 5 to 4.
So
5 to 1. 5 to 1 and name all of them.
I'm shocked you're going that way, but I'm proud of you.
Yes, I actually have it written down 1 to 5, but I'm gonna read from down to up.
That's how you do it.
get it,
That's
yeah.
how you do it.
That's how I'm gonna do it right here. Number 5, the Toronto Raptors.
Okay.
No superstar player. Siakam and OG are on expiring deals. Their deals expire after next season.
Pistons don't have a superstar.
Scotty Barnes regressed. 2 key players in Fred VanVleet and Gary Trent are on player options. They can opt out and become unrestricted free agents this offseason.
Scotty didn't regress, by the way. He just stayed the same. Go ahead.
He regressed.
No, he stayed the same.
Jakob Poeltl is an unrestricted free agent. And you know they finished 41-41, yet they're still over the luxury tax. A mediocre team. I mean, 41-41 is as mid as you can get.
They won a championship in 2019.
With Kawhi Leonard.
100% mid as fuck.
We're the number 2 seed the year after. Watch
You
your
wasn't
mouth.
a fan.
I
Scotty
wasn't.
wasn't
I'm
there.
just saying. Just saying.
Scotty wasn't
I'm not
there.
a Scotty fan. I'm
No,
not
you
like.
are. Stop.
No,
Enough.
I've been
Stop.
turned into one.
Yeah, you
I've been
are.
turned
Yeah.
into one. Deem this, but I'll live with
Yeah,
it.
so it doesn't matter what anything
No, it
happens
has nothing to
pre-Scotty.
do with anything. But we're slandering the Toronto Raptors
This team.
organization.
They've been dogs.
I mean,
This
at,
team.
haven't been
at
good.
best, you
They
can
haven't
have them 4 with all due respect.
I agree. You're gonna have the Pistons 4.
Fuck
Number 4.
They better be one.
You ready? Number
Oh,
4,
76ers.
I have the Philadelphia 76ers.
You ready?
Come with the,
The
hot
reason
take.
why
He's going to steal what I was going to say.
they have an unreliable superstar in Joel Embiid who breaks down every playoffs. James Harden wants a max, and if I'm Philly,
ain't
give it
giving
to
I'm hesitant.
You give it to him.
I am. I'm hesitant.
They don't have the
last year.
appetite for a max contract.
PJ Tucker is 38 years old.
Your goat.
He doesn't look that old, but he's that old.
No, he is that old. He's like
And-
Al Horford.
Like the Sixers have a silver lining because Tobias Harris's contract expires after next season. But what offsets that is they have to pay Tyrese Maxey. So any cap relief they would have had
not bad.
by Harris's contract expiring will be
my God.
negated because Maxey is going to get a bag. And he deserves it. But that's why the Sixers, they are an attractive destination for me. If I'm a head coach, I wouldn't want to go to Philly. The only thing that's attractive about it is
Detroit's more
if I'm getting Joel Embiid healthy and I'm getting Harden who actually performs in the playoffs, which is a rarity, it's attractive. And the only thing that can save Philly is asset management if they do trade Joel Embiid.
Would
because
you?
they will
If
get
you
a
were the
haul.
GM, would you trade Joel Embiid?
I'll probably give it one more year, then I'll trade him. Embiid is locked up for, I think, 4 to 5 more seasons.
Okay.
So any team that's trading for him is getting him for the long haul. Number 3, Detroit Pistons. They're trending upwards. I love the trio of Cade, Ivy, and Jalen Duren, who in my opinion is baby Dwight Howard. You add the 5th overall pick to that, they have solid veterans in Bojan Bogdanovic, Alec Burks, $30 million in cap space. Any coach who comes here is getting a brand new slate, and that's what's intriguing. Number 2, the Phoenix Suns. top 3 duo in the NBA in Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. 64.2 win percentage with Booker. That would have been good for the 5th best win percentage this season, and only 6 players on their payroll for next year, which means this is going to be a brand new roster. And let's say a coach like Nick Nurse comes in here, who in the past has gotten the best out of his role players. Look at the 2019 Raptors championship run. It could be an intriguing place, and they have the most important pillar in place that most NBA teams are dying to have, which is superstar players. They have 2 of them. And number 1 is the Milwaukee Bucks. 58 wins. I understand they just lost to an 8 seed, but Giannis, Holiday, Portis, Connaughton, Allen are all under contract. That's 5 key players. Middleton has a $40 million option. He possibly accepts that or gets a longer-term deal, but for less money. If you bring back Brook, you bring back this core, and you're getting a motivated Giannis, this is the number 1 spot for any coach to go to.
Good review.
Respectable.
You want me to go next?
I could go if you wanted. All right, number 5.
Mine's just a little spicy.
The Toronto Raptors. The Toronto Raptors, for the sole fact that they have limited amount of funds. And I do like this roster. I do. And by this roster, I mean the starting 5. But it's going to be hard to allocate other funds to make this roster better. I still like Siakam. We don't know what's going to happen to Fred. Scotty, I still believe in Scotty. He did not regress. He stayed the same. And that was the disappointment. The fact that he did not get better was disappointing. And then you have, of course, Gary Trent's probably going to – I think he has a player option. He's most likely not going to be on the Raptors. I'd be shocked if they bring him back for the fact that Jakob Poeltl is probably going to be probably the main target for them to bring back. And when that's the case, that's when you're in trouble. So then I have them number 5. Number 4, I have the Detroit Pistons. I like their foundation. Again, I believe in that Cade, Ivy, Duren trio, no doubt. I like Ivy a lot. It's Cade that is the most intriguing. Of course, Riv's going to go a little bit deeper when it comes to Cade Cunningham. Number 3, the 76ers. I get where you're coming from, Joel. The fact that Joel Embiid has been injured in the playoffs these last couple of seasons. Harden, you don't know what's going to happen, whether he's going to be on the Sixers or not. And if he is on the Sixers, which Harden are you getting? Because this regular season was probably the best Harden that we've seen. Let me not say that, because that first season that he went to Brooklyn, he was unbelievable prior to the injury. So I'll probably say that this was just an impressive James Harden. We saw a rejuvenated, a more focused Harden until it came to the playoffs, unfortunately. But regardless of that fact, it is Joel Embiid, the reigning MVP. You do potentially, depending on the situation, James Harden. Tyrese Maxey is a great young player to have. I think that if you're a head coach, anyone but Doc is going to try and do something different or is going to want to bring in a new offensive mindset, not just constantly run pick and rolls to death and just isolation basketball, let Joel Embiid foul bait and get to the foul line. Do something creative. Enhance Joel Embiid's game more so than it already is. Of course, he showed he could be an MVP at his ceiling. So then number 2 is going to be the Phoenix Suns. I have number 2 Phoenix Suns for the sole fact, of course, you have Kevin Durant, you have Devin Booker, 2 of the most exciting superstars in the game. But then the reason why I don't have a 1 is because there's issues with the rest of the line. What's going to happen with DeAndre Ayton? What's going to happen with Chris Paul? What are we going to do to address this depth that is lacking on the Phoenix Suns team as well? You have Devin Booker, you have Kevin Durant. That's something that's one of the best foundations that you can have to build around, but you have conflict with Ayton. You have an aging all-star, soon to be Hall of Famer once you retire, first ballot Hall of Famer once he retires, but he's not that same Chris Paul that he was maybe, let's say, 2-3 years ago. He's completely fallen off defensively. Offensively, he's a playmaker, does not provide much scoring options for you at this point in his career. But it's seeming as if one of these 2 guys will not be on the team, and I would not be completely shocked if both of these guys are not on the roster. But number 1 has to be Milwaukee, for the sole fact that they have Giannis Antetokounmpo, number 1, number 2 best player in the world, however you want to shake it. Drew Holiday is going to be on the roster. Chris Middleton is going to be that one that you wonder, is he going to be back onto the squad? I'm going to assume so. I don't see a world where Giannis does not play alongside Chris Middleton. But I believe Brook Lopez, that's a player option, or he's going to be a free agent. Unrestricted free agent. That becomes a worry because, of course, you're going to have to pay Middleton or Brook. And Brook this season was one of the best shot blockers in the game.
Middleton has a player option.
Player option. Got it.
And Brook is a UFA.
Okay. Yeah, if I'm Milwaukee...
They have his bird rights, though. They can match.
Okay, but it will be tough to see Brook Lopez walk away for the sole fact that he allows something that not many bigs give you in the NBA. Can stretch the floor, is one of the
Yeah, they're pretty tightened up with money.
That's what I'm saying. At this point, you're going to allocate your money to Drew Holiday, to Giannis Antetokounmpo, most likely Chris Middleton. But to see Brook Lopez go, that's definitely going to hurt them. But probably see Bobby get increased minutes if he's going to walk away. But if I'm a coach, I want to go to Milwaukee #1 overall.
Bobby Portis said that the biggest loss that wasn't talked about was Darvin Ham.
Low key, that was Giannis's guy.
I hope your list is similar to mine. You should go first.
Before we do it, Darvin, we're good coach.
Yeah, I think he's a good
All
coach.
right.
For sure.
He beat a lot of allegations.
A lot of
he beat
them.
a ton.
He beat. Listen, and I was one of them.
Yeah.
I was one of
He
them.
still
that I was
has some
angry
ways
at
to
him.
go, but he'll be there next
His
year.
rotations, he was on Kerr timing, just throwing out some bullshit just to see what sticks.
Then he waited till game 4, like, all right, I'm putting out the death lineup. Yeah,
Bastard.
He'll be there next year though.
Yeah,
he
definitely
earns his.
deserves to
Yeah,
be.
nah, he's not getting.
I know there's
especially-
some appetizing.
Come on, Dels.
Yeah, after the
Bring
turnaround
it-
you guys had.
Bring it home, because
I mean, you're going last. You would be the one who would bring it home.
I'm gonna go
Are
now.
you gonna have
You're
one
better clean
Detroit? Yo, you need help.
You're gonna have one Detroit.
I was gonna push some propaganda. All right, here we go.
Yeah, thank you, because I don't even fucking.
So I got number 5. I got the Sixers, just for the simple fact that Joel Embiid has finally proven me right that he is a fraud in the playoffs.
Calm down.
James Harden wants a lot of money. Tyrese Maxey's due for a bag, like you mentioned. Tobias Harris is still due for contract. They don't have many wiggle room with this roster, and you're pretty much stuck with Joel Embiid and possibly James Harden. And how much do they get better from this in the playoffs? I don't know. If I'm a coach, I'm looking at this situation like it's a lot of drama. Joel Embiid was crying a lot last year for the MVP, didn't come to show up. Not much young talent outside of Maxey. DeAnthony Melton is good, but his contract's also up soon. I'm not feeling good about this situation. Number 4, I got the Phoenix Suns. I think Devin Booker is an elite player, one of the 10 best basketball players in the world. Kevin Durant is getting up there in age. Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton, they could possibly be traded. It seems like Chris Paul is nearing the end of his career or already at the end. DeAndre Ayton looks like he doesn't want to be there. There's not much wiggle room in the rotation. I'm looking at this roster like, do I really want to go in here and try to fix this? Nah, I think number 3 for me, I will put Toronto, because even though they have a lot of guys on expiring deals, they do have a top 14 pick. They have Scotty Barnes. I think that's something I can work with. They have tradable assets. If we do decide to pay OG, if we do decide to pay a Pascal, I think those are guys you can definitely trade, get something for. I think Fred is still a player you can trade and get something for. So
You
I
even
think
like Scotty Barnes?
no, but I think he's still
Fred and Gary can become UFAs
So you-
though.
yeah. I think
Scotty Barnes don't even like the guy.
no, I don't gotta like him to respect.
How
the
I
game.
describe the Raptors is that their team is filled with players that no other organization wants to meet the asking price for in a trade.
That's not true.
I think they just asked for too much.
That's
You can say that for a lot of teams,
teams,
though. Most teams usually value their players more than another team would.
They were supposed to trade Fred. They were supposed to trade OG. Neither happened.
I think they realized that, hey, let's keep this foundation together.
Yeah,
And let's win 41
so now-
games again.
Yeah, I'm the GM though, so I'm looking at this
Okay,
like,
okay,
yeah,
all right,
Miami.
I think Toronto can get a lot, not a
But
lot.
you're a
but-
head coach. We're ranking head coach.
Pardon me,
positions.
I'm a head coach. I'm looking at the situation like
We can be garbage and rebuild.
exactly. They still have their picks. They didn't trade everything away. The Suns, the Sixers, they don't have their picks
That's
for
fair.
a
The
good
thing
amount
is,
of
the
time.
Raptors are not garbage. They're not garbage.
They're mid.
They're mid.
They're mid. I
So-
agree.
So you don't think
I'd
as a
rather be
coach,
garbage, I think.
Huh?
I think I'd rather be garbage.
I don't completely
don't
disagree
get the
with that logic. I just mean in the sense of they have talented players. There's teams that don't have the talent that the Raptors have, but you're right. They're kind of stuck in limbo.
They are.
I agree with that point.
so like if you're a coach, you don't fear that. Let's say the Raptors go in a direction where they just rebuild and retool. You don't fear that you're going to be that coach that's there for 3 to 4 years, and after the rebuild is done, you're just going to get fired.
That's a great point.
It's possible, but I can take that the same with the competitive teams. There's a chance where we can get competitive and we fail in the first year and I get fired.
Or would you rather
Year
win
one,
and fail,
probably
or
not.
would you rather lose and fail?
I lose either way.
Who was
I
your
don't think so.
5-4-3 again?
5 is the Sixers, 4 is the Suns, 3 I got Toronto.
4.
Yeah.
Because if you lose if for example Steven Silas, he goes to Houston, his resume is now tarnished.
But he also thought he was going to have a different team than when he
That's a fact.
personally got there.
That
for.
and he also thought that he was going to have freedom to do what he wanted.
Yeah.
But you look at coaches that go into rebuilding situations, like for example James Borrego with the Hornets.
All right.
If you don't succeed, your resume is tarnished as a coach. Monty Williams went to a team that they had already established young talent. He took the leap, and the reason why Monty's now an attractive head coaching option for teams
I agree.
is because he's been winning.
The key word with that is young. Key words is young talent. There is no young talent with Phoenix. There is no young talent with the Sixers. There's guys who are already established that have shown they're pretty much either peak at their abilities or their roster doesn't have enough cap to really make a necessary amount of moves. With Toronto, I look at Toronto as like, all right, I have Scotty Barnes. That's something I can work with. Maybe if I turn him into something I can work with. I have a top 15 pick.
You have Delano Banton.
We're not acknowledging that. I have the top 15 pick. That's something I can work with. Who I bring in. That, like, those are things I can work with. I can bring in. And I can do that.
Siakam's on an expiring.
Yeah. But
next offseason is
next offseason.
But he isn't eligible for max.
Yeah. He made All-NBA.
No, he didn't make All-NBA this year.
You have to make it within
2 years ago.
Year.
No, you have to make it the year.
Yeah. No, really? That sucks.
He has to make it next year, basically.
He could.
So Jaylen Brown clutched crazy.
He did.
Wow. That sucks.
Does it?
I think so, personally. You
Well,
made an All-NBA within the time that
Jaylen Brown's not a
didn't.
free agent, technically. He still has 1 year
By the
left.
time you were not due for a
Consistent
contract.
All-NBA player.
I don't disagree, but that's whack.
Yeah.
You were an All-NBA player before your contract was due, and you're not getting a max? That's whack.
Actually, this is his last year.
This is
Siakam. Yeah, he's unrestricted next year.
next year.
This is his last year.
Yeah, got it. That's what you were saying.
Yeah,
got it.
I know why you got confused
Yeah.
a little bit. Why?
So what's your top 2 or 3? What do we have left?
My number 2.
He's moving nasty. It's Milwaukee.
It's Detroit. It's
Okay,
Detroit.
I was gonna
Relax.
say,
I won't go that
They're winning
far.
50 games next year.
No, I love what Detroit has, man. Cade, Duran, they have way more young stars than Toronto. I think they have a solid foundation, and you have something you can build with. And I think that's important. They're building a new culture there. They have their draft picks, the number 5 pick coming in, so that's also somebody who's going to be able to grow with you. You got Cade, who's a hard worker, a learner. You got Jaden Ivey. You just seen what he did in his rookie year, progressed month by month. And then you got Jalen Duren, who, like you said, baby Dwight. So I think this is probably a top 3 destination for any coach who's coming in and want to make a name for themselves. Who's
Monty
a coach?
had a chance.
Monty turned them down.
Is Boyan going to be
He's on a
the-
contract.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
That's also great
like
for the young
1 or
guys.
2.
They need a
He's
vet.
got an
I
extension.
think just
All young guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got an
Maybe
extension in the middle of the year.
But I know that they have Alec Burks and Boyan locked in for next year. for
Okay.
sure.
And then, of course, number 1, the Milwaukee Bucks.
Thank you
They
for
have
having some
arguably the best
sense.
player in the league. Drew Holiday is still a really good player.
Arguably.
He doesn't
I know
believe
more.
it. He doesn't believe that at all.
I say number 1 or
Jokic.
number 2, if that's your belief.
Show a little respect. You know, so
Yeah,
I'm
stop
gonna give him a little respect. So
Stop
they've arguably
2-time MVP, Defensive Player of the
Gotcha.
Year, Finals MVP, dropped 50 in the closing game. Come on.
Last World Finals in Acorn, you know. Found a few.
yeah.
Did you see DeAndre Ayton's effort in that game? Could have had 100.
Drew's talking about retiring as a Buck though, so that's something to look out for. Middleton's age, his injury concern, that's something to look out for. But you have the best player, arguably. Excuse my stars. I'm sorry, Joker. You have arguably the best player in the world, so you have that. That's something to always work around. So you got to put the Bucks at number 1.
I respect that.
You're so lucky I didn't put Detroit at 1.
You could have. I mean, you would have.
mean you
You would look
could've?
like a
Thank you.
fool. But
think so?
I mean, you
They
could.
can win a chip
Did
in
you hear
3
how
years.
high my voice just went?
Yeah.
That's how serious
They
it
can win a
was.
chip in 3 years.
Okay. You want to put money on that?
Hell no.
Okay, it's like we know that's not how.
Your list is the one that's going up on TikTok.
Yeah, for sure.
That's fine. I'll get Raps fans.
Detroit
on my
number
side.
2.
Yeah, Detroit
I'm gonna
number
get some
2 is
rap
crazy.
This
love.
guy's crazy.
I'm gonna get some Detroit love, and that's all that matters.
The Raptors are at 5 because at the end of the day, I think GM and ownership don't really know what to do with this team. I think all NBA fans around the fucking globe, around the country, look at this team and say, blow it
Calm
up
down.
and start over. Because with all due respect to this team, you're not winning a championship with Pascal Siakam, Scotty Barnes,
said that in
and the rest of these
2019.
guys. They had
Kawhi.
Kawhi Leonard.
You have to stop.
So if they go out and are able
said that
to
in
get
2020.
the best player for a season or a top 5 player, okay, but they're not going to be able to do that without completely tearing down their team. And whatever coach goes there, I think is going to have some sort of clash with the front office and ownership saying, what type of team am I going to be getting going forward? Are we going to go out and make these moves and try to compete, or are we going to be blowing this thing up? And either way, it's going to be tough, because if you do blow it up and it's been 3 years and you're not competitive yet because you guys haven't progressed yet, you could get fired. And if you do make that big move for a superstar and you don't win that championship, you could get fired as well. So the Raptors are in limbo for the most part. They have the 14th pick, I think you said. So who knows? You could always find a steal there. I have the Pistons at 4, and the 3 teams in front of them, they're all teams that could win a playoff series, win multiple playoff series, even go to a finals, probably outside the Sixers. The Raptors team has a ton of young talent. Dwayne Casey's been there for the last 4 years. Excuse me, the Pistons have a ton of young talent. Dwayne Casey's been there for the previous 4 seasons. And I think even though Dwayne Casey obviously didn't have any success with this Detroit team, I think it's a good sign that he was at least under contract for 4 years and they didn't go fire him after a year or 2 years and that's definitely a turnoff to coaches if you look at their roster and say, I'm going to have no sort of leash here. If I'm bad for 1 or 2 years, I'm out. So the one positive thing I think you could look at Detroit if you're a head coach is saying there seems to be some stability here from ownership. If I get a contract, I'm going to be here for 3 or 4 seasons. Of course, you have Cade, Jaden Ivey, the young guys are there. But again, this is going to be a team, if you take this job, you're going to be expected to be competitive probably within the next 2 to 3 years. And if we do think Cade is going to be as great as he is, and Ivey showing the steps, from the beginning, when Cade goes out, the steps makes a playmaker. Duren had a great year. You could be looking at this team a few years down the road as a potential playoff competitive team. The Sixers I have at 3, just because you still have Joel Embiid, and you're going to be able to have success. If you're the Pistons and your guys don't progress, and Cade, maybe he deals with injuries, or Jaden Ivey doesn't turn into an all-star player like we think he might be able to, you could have a Steven Silas type record where you get the head coaching position and your team isn't good, and now you're looked at it and isn't good.
But if the Sixers flame out in the first round in the first year you get there, that's the same. You can lose that job the same year.
Yeah, but then you could move off of Embiid and say like, oh, he was the problem. You could still get fired either way. I'm not saying you're wrong, but you also at least have that shot that first year or two to maybe tweak the roster around Embiid, and maybe they were a game away with the Celtics this year. If you're able to get over the hump,
so many
times. You don't have to get to the finals if you're the Sixers. If you get to the ECF,
they haven't gone to the ECF.
I know,
that's goal.
But
that's
you're
goal.
throwing a party in Philadelphia if you get to the ECF. You're throwing a party.
Of course, I think you're being nice.
Of course, you're asking.
No, he's spitting.
You're asking for a lot. But you're throwing a party, and you were a game away against a team that was more talented than you.
And Embiid has not had a healthy playoff run. If he's healthy for the playoffs.
He might never. I'm not expecting
if he's healthy for the playoffs, we can see something special.
But if you're able to get to the ECF, you're going to be looked at as Philly as a god of a coach.
I'll be honest with you. The Sixers are funny, man. You guys, this man has won MVP. He's, in most of your eyes, a top 6, 7 player in the world.
He's definitely top 10. He's no less than that.
I'm with you. That's why I said top 6, 7. And we're throwing a parade and saying, yo, you're a coach. You might keep your job if you just get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I'll be serious here.
There's a lot of great players in the league.
Let's be honest. Doc only kept his job because that ring has been saving him for a long time.
I'm not disagreeing.
So
I
don't.
Austin Rivers disagrees with you.
His son.
His son.
He basically said on his podcast he went down the list of every situation
and broke it down.
Go to bat for his
it's
pops.
all.
I mean, that's understandable. It's his father. I respect that he goes to bat with his father. I would do the same thing for my father.
He was on the team for half of those years too, and
then he traded his own son.
I respect that. I do respect it.
Sixers at 3 is high, but I get it.
My top 2 are the Suns and Bucks.
And you said Suns at 4.
Suns at 4 is ridiculous. The Suns are a team that can win a championship next year. They have 2 of the best players in the world. They have KD and Devin Booker. If they're able to round out the rest of the
Nick
roster,
Nurse got the best out of Fred VanVleet, Norman Powell.
And they made the second round.
No,
the same thing as the Suns.
They made the finals. They
won with Kawhi
in 2019.
Oh my! Stop.
They have KD and Book.
Yeah,
I'm not
the
saying
superstars there
exactly.
For Phoenix.
They have it, and they have some role players.
You cannot compare Toronto situation to Phoenix. They had 8 role players and a superstar.
Of course,
the Suns don't have 8 role players.
I know, but they can fill out this roster
with how though?
Nick Nurse found VanVleet. Norman Powell.
The Lakers filled out a roster in one offseason. That 2019 to 2020 season, we had 3 players on the roster at one point. 3 players, and we were able to make a whole new team. People are going to want to go play with KD and win a championship.
They just filled out the roster in midseason.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can make moves. I mean, they don't have
it's easier to build around 2 superstars than it is just a team.
They got 5 seconds for Jay Crowder.
I think at one point the team was LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Rajon Rondo.
So they got seconds to move. They got
that was it.
Rui for seconds.
That the Lakers team at one point was LeBron James, AD, Kuzma, Rondo. I think that was it. The rest we all made moves.
No, Caruso was on your team.
That's what it was. Caruso. I apologize.
But you could round the roster. The 3 teams below them, like the Sixers, of course, have Embiid, but his injuries in the playoffs, we know how that goes. And the Pistons and Raptors don't have any superstars on their team. The Suns team have 2 of the best players in the world, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. And it was a disappointing season this year, I understand, but you have a full season now with KD. They're going to be right in the mix of it. And number 1's the Bucks. You have Giannis. You have a veteran team ready to win a championship. I think the only drawback is, as you guys mentioned, it's an old team. So the window, barring, trading a Brook or a Middleton or a Drew to kind of maybe get some youth into this roster, you're probably looking at like a 2-year window realistically with this, core of Brook, Middleton, and these guys. But with Giannis on the team, he could carry a team to the ECF or even the finals.
Rivers just really banking on the Pistons' young core.
He is.
That's what
it's his guys. He loves Cade, Ivy. Duren.
No, I just think
Cade's going to have to show something this year.
I just think I don't want to bank on a old Kevin Durant in a roster that I don't know what it looks like coming in. I mean, DeAndre Ayton doesn't want to play, and then you don't know the value.
Ayton probably gets moved.
The value is low on DeAndre and Chris Paul. The value is
If you
extremely
get 2 or
low.
3 good role players, does that make you for Ayton? Does that make you feel better?
Who are the role players?
What was the Mavs trade? What was it?
Hardaway Jr. and no, actually, the Mavs trade was a fucking abysmal trade. It had the 10th pick in it. It was like 3 other
10th
players
pick.
for DeAndre Ayton. It was a rumor.
I forgot what.
Yeah,
we
Tim
did
Hardaway,
the other day.
JaVale McGee.
Bring me JaVale McGee. I miss him.
10th pick.
He was
you
great
get a
with
good
the
player.
Dubs.
10th pick, get a good player.
For the Suns?
They get the 10th pick. Yeah.
It would have to be a shooter because they're going to put him right in the corner.
Get Dick.
I'm crying.
Yeah. It's
The
tough.
Pistons. I mean, the Pistons at 2. Below the Suns at 4 is pretty ridiculous for a team that can legitimately win a championship next year.
It depends. I don't think you can say that until you see the roster for next season. This roster right now cannot win a championship.
Well, they don't have enough people under contract.
So I don't think you can confidently. I get the star power. The star power is very important. I'm not disagreeing with that. But Denver's still around. The Lakers are gonna retool. They'll be
They
around.
have some role players like they have Shamit
And
Craig,
Campaign are still on
Campaign.
contract for next year.
So they're okay.
Jacques Lindell gave some good minutes.
Jacqueline.
I mean, it's not like it's
Who's under contract?
They, I
No,
would say they
Dell.
might be free agents.
No, actually,
but,
yeah, Londell is not under contract. I'm looking at it right now. They have 5 people on the
but
contract.
they already have a couple role. Only 5. Then maybe they only have like
They
one
have
under
Kevin
contract.
Durant, Booker, Ayton, Chris Paul, Shamet. That is their starting
They
five.
have one role player.
Who you not
Let's
count?
be honest. Chris Paul's a role player at this point.
You didn't even count him.
I was saying Shamit.
Oh, yeah.
I was saying Shamit as a role player.
Oh yeah, and Book and KD, 50 mil.
Yeah, they're getting back.
They need it.
They
Deserve
deserve
it.
it.
Great players.
I'm here with you.
Now, before we go on to the next topic, a quick word from Shady Rays, who's now sponsoring the Pick a Side podcast. Kick off the new year with new gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered from the sun to the slopes with premium polarized shades, customizable snow goggles, and much more. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair we've worn. Durable frames and extremely clear optics for outdoor adventures. That's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked.
Damn.
Wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after you purchase. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the new year. Go to ShadyRays.com and use code PICKASIDE for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourselves the shades rated 5 stars by over 200,000 people. Now this next segment, I thought it'd be really fun to play a little game. The main topic, Victor Wembanyama. We know he's one of the most hyped prospects ever
Probably
since LeBron.
Second ever.
Second to LeBron. And before we go on to this game that we're going to play, and the game is, are you trading blank for Victor Wembanyama? And we're going to name some star players. Let's talk about most hyped prospects that weren't Victor Wembanyama, disregarding LeBron because we know he's the most hyped one ever.
Of course.
I came up with a list.
Okay.
Greg Oden,
Of course.
Derrick Rose,
I'm with you.
Anthony Davis,
Definitely.
Andrew Wiggins,
Yes.
who, when researching this for this topic, I was looking at top 10 lists for most hyped stars ever or number 1 overall picks, and Wiggins was nowhere to be found, and I was shocked.
Really?
That's ridiculous because
Yes.
people were saying that was LeBron light.
yeah.
Yeah, I was shocked that I didn't see Wiggins extremely high. And I had Ben Simmons as well, and of course Zion Williamson.
Have to have him.
So just as right now, a quick breeze through question. Do you think that the hype and expectations for Victor right now early on are a bit unfair? And the follow-up to that would be, what do you expect from him year one? Like a stat line.
As a LeBron guy, I can't say they're unfair because what they did to LeBron James was technically unfair. Deemed him the chosen one. If you're not a certified Hall of Famer, you're considered a bust. When you have these legendary expectations put on your shoulders, yes, there's pressure, but off the film, off of what the physical attributes that he provides, I feel like it is not unfair because he has shown up until this point, of course, not fully in the NBA. He's in a professional league in France, but not the National Basketball Association. He's shown that he has the tools to be a legendary player in this game. I do firmly believe so. I was doing myself a favor, and I was touching up on some highlights, and I watched back that game from 7 months ago. I put it up on Twitter, the Scoot versus Wembanyama, the number 1 and number 2 prospects, in my opinion. What a game. That is some of the best highlights you will ever watch because it starts off and Scoot is killing. Scoot's driving on Victor. He's not really caring. He is trying to live up to that challenge of understanding Victor is this generational guy. I want to prove that I have the right to be associated with this guy at number 2 or potentially go number 1, really try and impress. And Victor he answered every time. And it's not that ideal way that you would expect a 7'4" guy to really enforce himself in the offense. It's jump shots. He is crazy with the jump shots. He made 7 threes that game. But it's the way that he's taking it. It's a catch and shoot. It's an off the dribble. It's a post turnaround, jab step, have the defender bite a little bit, take a step back at 7'4". LeBron James said this last year. He's not a unicorn. He's an alien. And that is 100% a fact because what he's doing is not normal. And the best comparison, right, that people have liked to say is Kristaps Porzingis. But the thing is, Kristaps Porzingis is not dribbling the way that Victor Wembanyama is. He is not catching and shooting the way that Victor Wembanyama is. He's not shooting off the dribble like Victor Wembanyama is. So, no, I don't feel like it's unfair. We should not temper our expectations. I firmly believe that Victor Wembanyama is the next big superstar in this league. He has earned that right to be the number 2 prospect. Just off film alone, he is and has one of the most impressive tapes that you will see from a kid this young.
I think it's the size more than anything, right? Pause. I just think because we get prospects all the time.
You always make it worse when you say pause. Anytime pause is said, that's
because it was just the first sentence that came out of my mouth. I just had to make myself clear because
first thing that came out your mouth, huh?
When
no, you're getting nasty.
Even when you look at like LeBron,
he's
right,
red as fuck.
or even anyone like LeBron's 6'8", right, and LeBron was obviously one of the best prospects we've ever seen. Zion, same shit, like 6'8", 6'9", big body. But the fact that Victor's 7'5", 7'6", right? Like
stupid.
His height, and Drew mentioned it, like the Porzingis comps I get because you get the overseas one and just the insane just length of his body, 7'2". I'm gonna go on and on. It's something that you don't really ever see, right? And the fact that Victor has been hyped up for multiple years too, right? And even similar to Zion, who different routes because Zion's going through the high school and you see it on Twitter, him doing all these dunks when he's like 16 and everyone knew about him. Victor was similar, but I think even maybe a little bit less since he was overseas. And, you could go on Twitter and the Zion ones are being posted on, House of Highlights and all these pages we follow on social media. But Victor's was, I think, a bit more quiet just because he was in France and he was overseas. You didn't see it as much. But I think that the pressure that's put on Victor and any of these prospects probably is unfair because you are, coming up this process, 16, 17, 18 years old, and you have expectations to completely change around a franchise, in some cases be the face of an entire league, of a multi-billion-dollar league, multi-billion-dollar franchises. So I think just in general, the pressure is always unfair because at that young of an age, like I just think when I'm 18 years old, like I would never be ready to have that much pressure be put on me. But for Victor's skill set and what we've seen him be able to do overseas, I don't think there's any reason why we shouldn't expect him to live up to that expectation. Now, there's people out there like Chris Broussard saying if he's not KD or Hakeem, it's a failure. I'm not going that far, right? But I think it's very easy to go in and say, year 1, he should be the heavy favorite for Rookie of the Year. Year 2, he should be damn near an All-Star. Year 3, 4, he could be an All-NBA type player.
We saw Luka year 2 and be All-NBA. Am I wrong?
Yes.
Why can't we have that expectation for him?
Exactly. So the expectation that's put on him and all of these players, I think, are always unfair due to the age. But when you look at what he's done, his track record, his abilities mixed with his size, there's no reason he can't be the best player in the NBA at some point.
Comes with the job.
That's a fact.
It comes
You're
with
100%
the job.
right.
You get unfair money, unfair expectations.
There it is.
Fair money, unfair expectations. These franchises put millions of dollars invested into you. They put millions of dollars invested into your workouts. They put millions of dollars invested into your property.
Fucking amateur hour, man. What's going on? I'm talking to the TV, Roku.
Oh, I thought you were
Lock the
talking-
hell in.
I thought you were talking to Joel.
No. Come on.
I just backside
Oh, yeah,
automatically. I'm not sure.
randomly.
One more.
Come on, we're here. Josh Allen. There we go.
Yuck.
Oh, that's kind of rude.
So I was talking to Mahomes.
Yeah, they put a lot of money into your training. They put a lot of money into your health. They put a lot of money into your just into you as in general.
All your regimens,
And once
for sure.
once they draft you, they invest in you. So I think it comes with the job. It comes with the territory, especially if you're this once in a generation like prospect. Especially if you're this unicorn, we like to say, this special alien. Like it's not just the size; it's what he can do at 7'5". I mean, his fluidity with the ball, his ability to move, get into his pocket, get into his spot. It's a real dangerous thing for the NBA. And then the fact that he's doing that in the Euro League against grown men in a professional league is much impressive. So I think it just comes with the territory. I mean, it happens. You know, is it unfair? Maybe, but the amount of money they put into this, the amount of these franchises are $1 million franchises, $1 billion franchises. So it comes with the job.
I think it's time to play this game now. This game.
Are you not going to give your opinion?
Oh yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think the expectations are a bit unfair. I mean, at least with what Chris Broussard said, I disagree with that.
That was insane.
My expectation for the Spurs, though, is a play-in appearance. They have to make the play-in next year. That's going to be my expectation.
That's fair.
And Wemby has to average 18 and 8, and he has to block 2 shots a game. You're 7'5". If you're not blocking 3, I'm raising some eyebrows.
I was going to say he averaged 3 blocks this season over in France. He was pretty impressive, 21 points per game. The 3-point shot, that's what I was shocked at. It was kind of low.
It is low. That's why, for me, I think he'll be around 46% from the field, and
That's what he
30%
was.
from
What
3
do you shoot?
25.
is respectable. Yeah, it was not good as a 3-point shooter, but I
But he's
think
also
the Spurs,
7'4".
Yeah. But I expect the Spurs to be a playing team. They should be a playing team. If they were that with DeJounte Murray, then they should be that with Victor Wembanyama.
He had a season early on in his
keep
career.
dropping the DeJounte name.
He had a season early on in his career that he shot 36% from 3, but it was on low attempts.
He
Like
took
two
more attempts, I'm
attempts.
assuming, this
Now he's
season.
up to 5,
Yeah.
Hold
but
on, so
the average is lower. But his field goal percentage is still very good. Very respectable.
So Joel, let me ask you a question. Quick question. You would call it a disappointment if he finishes below OKC, the Pels, or the Timberwolves?
You got to be competitive in that race.
The play-in and even closer.
Who is the
play-
11 seed?
Dallas,
You got to be the Utah of next year.
the 12th seed.
The Spurs got to be
Okay.
competitive all year long.
Okay.
And they got to make a run for
That's
it.
You
more-
don't
that's
want to
more-
be
I
those
think-
like bottom teams that are like 7 games
The
out.
West is
I
still
I think
so
that's more
good.
fair. I think
Yeah.
saying make the play-in though, like
be in that conversation. Don't
and then
be
the West is still.
don't be the Blazers.
Blazers, yeah. I mean, they could retool and get into the play-in.
I'm saying Blazers from this past year.
Could they?
They were only 7 games off from OKC.
7 games is a lot.
That
They
is a
got
lot.
shut down for a month and some change.
A month, like 2 weeks.
No, I think it was like a good month.
It was a while.
Yeah, you shut down for like 15 games. That's hilarious that you get shut down. But yeah, let's play games.
This game is, are you trading blank for Victor Wembanyama? We
hot
know
sauce
Victor's
in
one of the most hyped prospects
It's gonna get
of
nasty.
our generation, of all time. If you're the Nuggets, are you trading Jokic for Victor Wembanyama?
Absolutely
Hell no.
not.
Not thinking about it.
Nope.
Moving on. If you're the Bucks, are you trading Giannis for Victor?
Absolutely not.
If you're the Warriors, do you trade Curry for Victor?
Hell no.
Now let's get to the names that might be dicey. If you're the Sixers, are you trading Joel Embiid for Victor Wembanyama?
I still say no.
I'm
I would
gonna
trade.
be. I'm gonna say the hot opinion here. Yes, for the sole fact that Joel Embiid is injury prone.
Yeah. I think you've seen, I know I just went on the whole rant with the Sixers, you're a game away from the ECF.
You sure
but
did.
If you have a chance to get Victor, okay, yeah, I'll trade Embiid and do
If
it.
it was anyone like
You think that warrants firing? If you were the coach and you did that, do you think they'd fire you
For what?
for trading
You mean
Joel
GM.
Embiid for?
GM.
I mean, if
GM,
you're the
yeah.
GM and you did that, you think
I
Philly
don't
would
think
want
it's,
your head?
I don't think it
No,
warrants
I
firing.
think ownership would have to sign off if you're trading your
Facts.
star best player, like MVP.
Like, would I call you
Pity
crazy
MVP.
if it got done? That's how I'm trying to answer
Okay.
these. I would not say you're crazy.
Okay.
You would rather you're not an Embiid guy, so I'm surprised you're taking the 28, 29-year-old
Oh, listen, he just won
big.
MVP. I
yeah,
get it.
I still respect the 30 leading the league in scoring MVP.
You all of a sudden you respected. You haven't respected
Well,
the last
when it comes
months.
to like Steph and Giannis in them, but this is
of course.
a rookie.
Just for the fact that he's
Okay,
injury
that's fair.
prone when it
That's
matters.
when it comes to them,
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. If you're the Lakers, do you trade Anthony Davis for Victor Wembanyama?
your interest should be the same, right?
I want to go back and say that I wouldn't trade Joel Embiid.
Here's my rebuttal to that. The Sixers have seen how far Embiid can take you. There's a ceiling.
That's fair.
If you're the Lakers and LeBron is coming back and you're bringing back this team, you know you can go to the finals. Does Anthony Davis help you win more right now than Victor? Yes.
He does.
So AD helps you on your journey to a championship.
But
so I'd say no for Anthony
AD
Davis.
Well, I
the
also
same-
do think that Anthony Davis is better than
But
Joel
you also
Embiid.
have AD has the same injury concerns as
Not as
Joel
much
Embiid.
as, but he
Not
performs
as-
in the playoffs.
That is true. If he gets there, then yes, he performs in the playoffs. This is his first time performing for a consistent stretch in a long
The
time.
Lakers
Take it
are-
easy. Take it easy.
It's
I
a
would-
fact.
I only say that for the fact that of the 3 of the 4 years, we've made it to the playoffs, and that
he missed the Suns one.
he
and
didn't miss. He
missed
missed
games.
time, correct? But
He
he
missed
was
games.
dominant,
when he played.
correct?
But
That's
he
all I'm
didn't
saying.
play.
I agree.
I'm not.
but
I'm not
just saying.
disputing when he plays, he's dominant. I'm disputing he has to play.
I'm
So
with
would
you.
you trade AD for Victor if you're the Lakers?
No, I still wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't do it either. I don't care how crazy that sounds. but I
Especially
would
with
trade
LeBron,
Joel.
he wins. He's not going to want that.
You gave me such a beautiful out.
Great
You
cop-out.
you explained it perfectly.
Are you trading, if you're the Magic, Paolo Banchero
Yes.
for Wemby?
I'm not thinking twice.
Yeah,
about
I
it.
would do it too. I've saw those. It's kind of crazy.
The fact that they're putting trades together, like no, the Magic, I don't think aren't going to do it. They're not putting Paolo, Franz, and picks.
I
Or, you
think-
know what I mean? But
I'll be honest. I'm sure I could talk some
Paolo
Magic
in
fans.
the sixth pick is firm.
Yeah, I'm
do
sure
that.
that I could convince the Magic
You'd rather
fans to
have
do
which?
this.
I'd rather have Victor.
me too.
Yeah, like comfortably.
I love. I think Paolo's going to be great.
I think that was
Magic,
amazing,
of course,
but-
Magic fans are going to say that you want Paolo.
Yeah, but
No,
fair
I
enough.
think
No,
that's
they're bugging.
no. There are some Magic fans that would say, "Give me Wemby."
I think you should say.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should. There's nothing wrong with that.
But the only thing that gets out of control is the package that would follow, because you're not lying. It would
was-
not only be Paolo, it would also be the 6. It would also be the 11.
We're just talking about straight up.
No. Oh,
Straight up is pretty
Straight
easy.
up-
Yeah,
straight up
that's
is
easy.
Yeah.
Victor.
If
If
there
you're
is no
the
trades.
if you're the Pelicans, are you trading Zion for Wemby?
He has bigger injury concerns than Embiid, brother. Man, please keep the same.
Do we
energy.
have no? I know.
And he's
Victor's-
younger.
Do we have any concern about Victor's body type that has?
No,
not
we definitely
really,
do have concerns
That's
about
like
that.
But
Zion's been.
But until I
proven to have
see
injury
it,
concerns.
until I see it,
you.
I'm cool with it. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fair. Because
another thing.
Zion,
Embiid hasn't made an
unfortunately, we see it.
ECF, man.
I'm gonna go Victor.
I'm just anti-Embiid. I have to go all in at this point.
I'm going Victor here.
God, this is so tough, bro. It's tough for the fact that when Zion is on the court,
Here
it
we
is
go.
understood he is the second most dominant player in the NBA behind Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's understood. He's one of the most dominant
6
players in
months ago.
NBA history.
You haven't seen that for 6-7 months.
It breaks my heart.
It's been so long since you've seen that, bro.
How do you trade
So
that?
if you're the Pelicans moving forward, you want Zion BI over Wemby and BI
No.
because that's what you'd have if
I'm
you,
good
if you
with.
make the trade.
I'll take Wemby.
think Victor.
Oh my God.
Take
I
another
just
chance. Here we
can't.
go.
I get it. I get
Swing the
it.
bat.
I
Here
get
we
it.
go.
I would do it. It would break
Next-
my heart, but I would do it.
Next name up. If you're the Thunder, are you trading SGA for Wemby?
No.
Ah, fuck.
I wouldn't do it. This was his most healthy season, to be fair. That had been a concern in the past, but he's only gotten better. He just made a first-team All-NBA. He just averaged over 30. Got better every single month.
No,
of the
because I've
season.
Shet.
Okay.
Okay.
I can-
Another great cop out.
I can
Another
no,
great cop out.
because I have Shet. SGA is one of 2 guards to shoot 50% from the field, 90% from the free throw line, average 30, and I have Shet. I'm gonna keep prowling on
He's
that.
a great playmaker
Yeah.
also.
That's a good cop
and I have
out.
Shet.
Facts. Keep SGA.
Yeah, we're keeping SGA.
If you're the Timberwolves, do you trade Anthony Edwards for Wemby?
Yes, because there's no room for him on my roster.
What?
There's no ample way to move Gobert. There's no ample way to
Oh,
move.
so you're saying no?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
keep
saying I would
Ant.
keep Ant. I'm keeping
Okay,
Ant.
I agree.
I'm
I'd
keeping
keep
Ant, too.
Ant too. I'm keeping Ant if I'm
Yeah, I'm
Minnesota.
super
That's
surprised.
why.
Why are you
proven it.
keeping Ant though?
Because
'Cause he has
Anthony
a
Edwards is
crush on
going to be a
him.
top 3 player in the league.
I
That's why.
I respect.
And
I
the
think he'll be
last
great.
thing we're going to finish off with, this is a dicey one. This we might get some mixed answers here.
Don't do this
I was
to
gonna
me.
say Dallas.
Are you trading, if you're Dallas,
I know
Okay.
it.
Luka for Wemby?
Not even thinking about it.
Absolutely not.
Nope.
Not even thinking about it.
How
Not
many
thinking about it.
untouchable players are there now that we're going over it? So
I'll be-
it's
I'll-
Giannis, it's Jokic, it's Steph, it's Luka. Is there any more untouchables?
Here's my intriguing offer to you. I love Luka, and I wouldn't make the trade, but this is my argument for why it could work. If you're Dallas, there's no real way to build this roster around Luka without major luck involved and without hitting every single move going forward right. If you trade Luka to San Antonio and you get Wemby, you now have Wemby, the 10th overall pick, Josh Green, Jaden Hardy. You have a young core. You have cap flexibility.
No, you said straight up. You can't cheat.
No, they have
Dallas
the 10th
have
pick.
the 10th overall pick.
Yeah, I'm saying you're now
He's
trading.
right, because
you said straight up.
The whole thing
cannot
was that it
cheat.
would be straight
No.
up.
The but the Mavs would still have that asset.
They would sell the 10th
Oh,
pick.
okay.
Yeah,
Because you
that's
said
what I'm
Spurs.
saying.
You talking about you said Devin, and then you said the 10th
No,
overall
I'm
pick.
talking about the Mavs right now.
Sorry.
So the Mavs would still have the 10th overall pick. They would get Wemby. They have two nice young players in Josh Green and Jaden Hardy. And you can now build around Wemby going forward. And I think for the Spurs, it's intriguing because if DeJounte Murray was able to lead the Spurs to the play-in,
This is
Keldon Johnson and
Devin
Devin Vassell getting better, Keldon, Vassell, Luka, I think that's a good trio moving forward.
I don't think there's a player in the NBA Dallas would say yes for Luka.
No way.
Not at his
I
age.
still don't feel great about the Embiid.
He's
It's
probably
actually hurting
the
my stomach.
untouchable of the
Which-
untouchables.
Saying that I would trade Wemby for Embiid.
I'd take it.
I don't think it's crazy.
Luka's
I
the
don't think so.
untouchable of the untouchable.
He is-
Like,
he's probably
No,
the
no,
most
he's
no.
untouchable.
probably
That's
number
what I'm-
one.
So are we agreeing there's 4 untouchable players?
I think. I mean,
I think
people-
Anthony Edwards is untouchable.
people are gonna say you take Luka over Tatum,
No,
but I don't
I
think the
disagree.
Celtics.
I disagree.
Why is he
If
not?
Minnesota, if Dallas
Let's hear
offers
it.
Minnesota Luka for Ant, Minnesota says yes.
I think that's correct.
Minnesota says
'Cause
yes.
same
But
thing.
if the
exactly,
only
if
person
the
that
Bucks
you're gonna
offered
get
Giannis,
I
is
say no.
Luka,
if
Giannis
the Bucks
too.
offered Giannis to Minnesota for Anthony
say
Edwards,
yes.
I say no.
They're saying
No,
yes.
you
I
say
say
no. We know you
I
say
say no.
but they say
So
no.
hold on, let me get a little bit dicier here. If you're the Clippers, do you trade Paul George and Kawhi for Victor?
Yes.
Both. Send them both to San Antonio for Victor.
Yes. Yes. You're getting yes.
Even though the Clippers have no future assets to
you
build
don't
around him.
listen. I love both of them. Everybody knows I love Paul George. They don't give you don't know how many games they're gonna play every year. You don't know if they're gonna get hurt down the stretch, and they're getting old. Sorry, buddies. You gotta go.
and you get rid of all that salary.
all that money.
Yeah.
Maybe I could go get another free. Give me Victor. Come on. I take
That's not
Kawhi
crazy.
PG. Spurs.
It's-
They look a little good now.
Kawhi back to San Antonio. Yeah,
That's nice. A little 4-wing tandem.
But to your point, the untouchables, Curry, Jokic, Giannis, Luka.
I think Tatum's in that conversation.
Tatum
I
is
think
an
Booker-
untouchable.
Booker's
Devin Booker,
probably for
I don't think the
Phoenix.
Suns would trade Booker for Victor. I don't.
No.
I don't think so either.
Maybe KD is a different story.
K-
Maybe
yeah, I
even
think
even
Tatum's
so.
untouchable?
No.
I think so.
You think if they throw Giannis at him, they say
Because
no?
what's been Tatum's floor?
ECF.
No, but I'm asking, you think if they shoot Giannis at the table, he says no? Like untouchables, like nobody can
I'll
get
be
him
honest,
no matter
bro.
who you offer.
I think they
No, I
would
think
say
untouchable
no.
means that team wouldn't trade that player for anybody.
I don't think you could
Yeah,
be
That's
like.
what he
That's-
just
I
said.
just said
Giannis for Tatum straight
That's-
up.
but
I
I
don't
don't-
think the Celtics say yes.
I agree.
I don't know if they do. I don't think they do. But I don't think it's also
They
fair.
say no.
It is
That's a
hard.
hard
It's
month
tough.
thought.
I
like,
don't think it's fair to say, is this player untouchable and the trade offer you give is another untouchable player? Like Luka
Well,
for
that's-
Tatum. Like they're both untouchable. It's like, can you put a package together to get
No,
Tatum?
I disagree because there's no like for Steph and Giannis, there's no package you can put out there or no player that gets you those two players. But I think the young players,
if the Warriors get offered Jokic for Curry, they don't do it.
the Warriors will not say yes.
That's fair.
No,
Take
there's
the
no
emotion
shot.
out of it, just from a basketball standpoint.
I personally
I don't
think
think
no.
I don't think they say yeah. Not even because the Joker's not better than Steph or nothing like that. It's just they feel like they have a player of similar talent. So why would they say yes?
It's like unless that player is requesting a trade, like we saw with Kevin Durant, they're not getting traded.
Do you think SGA is untouchable?
He's
It's
getting
not-
to that
he's
point.
He's not
untouchable.
untouchable, but you
He's
need to
getting to that
offer him
point.
like
Some ridiculous.
Yeah, something.
Like, you need
He's
Luka.
not right
Like,
now,
you're
but he is getting
not
there.
putting
in
together
my
5
opinion.
first and a couple young players for SGA. You know, like I'll just keep SGA.
SGA
He's young-
is so
he is
different.
young.
He's so different.
What about Jimmy Butler?
Dog.
From Miami.
They have to, Spo probably says no. He's probably like, oh, not my guy. Yeah.
Killer.
Spo probably
So
says
we're only talking about really 5 untouchable players in the NBA.
I think so.
I think Tatum and Booker are close though. Like they're right there.
I would
Yeah.
include Booker in that also.
Who else is there? Ant is gonna probably get there soon.
Yeah, could be next year
What do you
Yeah.
think? LeBron untouchable?
for the Lakers.
Because he's his own boss.
that's
'Cause
why I
he's
agree.
He is LeBron. You don't
And
trade
that's
LeBron.
LeBron. I guess we have to mention LeBron
Yeah.
too.
He's 40.
No, he's
38.
A year or two
He's
left.
40, bro.
Shut up.
Good play, Pete.
He's so old, bro.
Yeah, you're old too.
25.
Closer to 30.
He's closer to 50.
Now, next up, we're going to play a little game, NFL versus Trio Edition. And this is NFL versus, and what we're going to do is that we're going to take the highest priced quarterback, running back, and wide receiver on Mojo for these respective teams and compare them. First team up, the New York Jets versus the Dallas Cowboys. First comparison, quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers and Dak Prescott.
Without a doubt, you take Aaron Rodgers.
Taking Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is easy, and his share price reflects that. He's almost $50 high. He's $50 plus higher than
Which
Dak.
makes sense. He's also older. He's a lot more into his career. He has 4 MVPs on top of it. He has a ring. Dak doesn't have any of that.
Next up is a close argument. Breece Hall versus Tony Pollard.
I say this with respect because I like Tony Pollard's game a lot. It's Breece Hall. I don't care about the ACL.
Breece is tough.
I don't care about the ACL because
Hall's
last
coming
year
off an
what
injury,
Breece
too.
showed me was that he was on his way to be the best rookie running back, and that was saying something because last year's rookie running back class had a lot of dudes that you respected their game. Damian Pierce, Walker.
Is this like
of course,
side
Tyler
hate because
Algier.
Tony Pollard has?
Not at all. I just said I like Tony Pollard
No,
a
just
lot.
'cause I know
And
Zeke- I
I've
know
already,
Zeke's your GOAT.
that is my goat.
Pollard's
Love you and I
taking the
miss you,
reins.
and I hope that you get a team that signs you. I've said it. I've conceded to Joel. He was right. Tony Pollard was better than Zeke, had been better. He got it. I say this with no disrespect towards Tony Pollard. I just think that Breece allows you both the dual threat that Tony Pollard does, but I think that he's just a better rusher.
I'll go Breece.
I love Tony Pollard, but I got to go Breece here because of the explosiveness, the strength,
Come on.
the breakaway ability, his hands.
Great pass catcher.
Breece Hall has it all, and he's somebody who has legit potential to be a top 3 running back in the NFL.
Not a
All-pro
not a
potential.
crazy statement.
He was going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year if he didn't get hurt. He was great. I think I would side with Breece too.
And next one is receiver. CeeDee Lamb
It's a clean
versus Garrett Wilson.
It's a clean sweep, and I don't care what the comment section is going to say to me.
What do you
People
mean clean?
love CeeDee Lamb. I get it. He's great.
You're a hater.
Wait,
I'm
you're
not
going
a
Garrett
You've been
Wilson.
hating for
I'm
a
going
year.
Garrett Wilson.
Oh,
my-
damn. He's
No,
going
well,
full
It's
Jets.
not a clean
minute.
sweep
Garrett
'cause
Wilson.
I'm going CeeDee Lamb for now.
Okay.
But Garrett Wilson, I think, has a chance to surpass him.
He does.
What's
He
going to
does.
happen this season with Aaron Rodgers, we are going to see an ascension. I've already been calling Garrett Wilson a superstar. He is a superstar in the making. It is in full force this season. I fully expect Garrett Wilson to take that leap and jump frog CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb has it right now, sure. But what I'm projecting with Aaron Rodgers, the way that he's already been talking and hyping him up, from what he showed me last season with Zach Wilson, with
please.
Mike White.
wait for it, Mike White. Yes,
Joe
no
Flacco.
doubt about it in my mind. Garrett Wilson will have the better year.
This
and
is
he will prove
rich.
to be the
This is
better
rich
receiver.
coming from the guy who said Keenan was over Garrett just like a couple months ago.
Yeah, and again, I can sit here and tell you that I was wrong.
No football.
It was off season. There was no football on his place.
respect
No,
that.
no,
I
and now
respect
you
it.
got Aaron Rodgers. That's where things get different. That's why it's different.
Well, you didn't
tell me you had Aaron
You're
Rodgers.
just going off the stats.
Well,
then.
it's
You're
just a- he's
expecting
just a player.
statistical year
No,
with
for sure.
Rodgers.
Oh, listen, again, what do I understand? It is understood that CeeDee Lamb has put up better numbers. Absolutely.
CeeDee Lamb's also
Well,
like
Aaron
24,
Rodgers-
25 years old.
Aaron
And
Rodgers coming
Garrett
to New
Wilson's
York.
still young.
Aaron Rodgers coming to New York does not change who Garrett Wilson the player is. He was still better than Keenan Allen last year. Even
said
without
No, he was
maybe
better.
he was
He
wrong.
was better. No,
Yeah, you got it. Yeah,
he made
it
it
was just
wrong.
funny because there was no football. You
no,
know, just-
no. But that was also that no football?
yeah, this was
It
like
was.
a
It was
month
like
or two ago.
off-season talk. Yeah. It
But
was
even
after.
still, again, this is different than you. Now you get Rodgers. Now his expectations are different. Again, Keenan was injured last season, and down the stretch of last season, when he was back, Keenan was fantastic.
Yeah.
He was.
not better than Garrett.
He was fantastic. You could argue that he was.
No,
He's
he
just
was
not as explosive.
No, of
as
course,
Garrett is
but
down the
in ter-
field threat.
But again, his impact on the field, what he means to the Chargers, it was felt when he was gone. He came back and was obviously saw what he means, and his impact was felt. He was great.
You can have better stats to somebody and not be better than them.
I don't disagree. Which is why here I'm conceding to you. Fine. Garrett Wilson will be better than Keenan. He will be better than CeeDee. I'm firm
I'll
with.
go
Garrett is
CeeDee.
definitely more
And I'm
explosive
saying
than CeeDee.
I'm saying clean sweep because that's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
how I feel. You guys don't feel that
Oh,
way.
clean
Saying
sweep for the
with
Jets.
That's yes,
All
exactly.
Jets, yeah.
What do you mean clean sweep as in it's not even a
thought
question?
No,
you
clean
were
sweep
gonna
as in
say-
all of us say Garrett.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
I'm
that's
talking
what
about me.
No.
I was talking about me.
That's tough because I think Drew's logic is right. Right now, you have to go with CeeDee because he's produced more. I mean, Garrett's only been in the league for one season, but I think going forward, it's not crazy. I mean, Garrett was just 15th in yards with the worst quarterback play in the NFL.
And Garrett plays on the outside.
Yeah.
CeeDee is
he can
more in
play
the
either.
slot. He can play on the
either.
outside
CeeDee
too.
could do
but-
both.
But
Yeah.
CeeDee is more
I
productive
think
in the
they're.
slot.
I think they're in the same tier. I don't think either clears either player. I just
I
think
agree.
you're probably more I think maybe you see the ceiling a bit more with Garrett because year one he came in so great. CD was great year one too, but Garrett was
Coop
even
was
better
there too.
CD is priced higher than Garrett right now, but
Corey Davis.
that's because more career. He's played more in his career. But I think Garrett will be above CD Lamb after the season ends.
Okay, I'm glad that we got there.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
that's
And
what it should be.
I just think right now
You're taking
CD
CD
should
period?
Oh, no,
deserves that respect.
I
CD
agree with
period.
that. No doubt.
Right now,
I
CD
just,
deserves that.
I
CD,
agree.
I don't know the CD. I don't like the CD talk at this table.
It's not like we're saying that he's like Keenan Allen. That's another one that you probably would take
I
CeeDee
just
Lamb.
think you acting like CD can't get better. He's only 24.
He's great.
He's been in the league 3 years. He's just became a number one maybe last year.
He's borderline elite. He's borderline elite.
CD Lamb is amazing, but Garrett Wilson is a better route runner. I think they
Yes.
have similar hands. You talk about explosiveness. Garrett Wilson has
he's
more
more
It is
explosiveness.
similar hands, but
After
CD's
the
hands
catch-
are OD.
After the catch, Garrett is honestly one
One of the best in
the
the game.
CD
already.
tough, man. I'm gonna go CD right now. I think CD can still have a better year than him next year. I don't know. I don't think that's
can.
an outright.
Yeah.
CD's still only 24. Man.
Like CD is, in my opinion, locked top 11.
I think he's top 10.
Okay.
I don't think there's 10 receivers better than him.
Okay.
There's 9 though.
Maybe not 9. Maybe
He's
7.
definitely top 10.
Yeah,
He's top 10.
confirmed. I don't know. You've been real low on CD. That's why
I
don't,
agree.
Jared
But
Judy
he's,
guy.
and
stuff
he
you've
also,
been saying has
I
been a
agree,
little
but
wild.
again, I said that
Because
CD
beginning of last year, you was
yes,
low on him.
I
Then
agree.
he proved you wrong
I
again. Now
agree.
you're still not too high on him
this
again.
is another instance where I
Plus
came
Garrett
out.
Wilson.
That's a fact.
CD Lamb.
Garrett Wilson is him, bro.
CD Lamb's him.
He is.
But
But Garrett
another-
Wilson, I think, can hit another gear.
CD Lamb can hit another gear.
Not like Garrett.
and this is the problem at the table. We're
He
acting like
got
CD
Aaron
Lamb
Rodgers.
can't hit
I
another
agree. I
another
agree.
gear, and I think
Listen,
that's unfair.
and that's another instance where I came onto the show and said CeeDee Lamb proved the doubters, including me, wrong.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
He was sensational last season. He was great.
He also is going to have less competition this year. Garrett's obviously the one in New York, but you just paid Alan Lazard. Corey's still there. You got the tight
Yeah.
ends.
It's like
Like
you
they
can't
they
call
lost Schultz. They don't
Facts.
have Amari, obviously, for
You
now
got
didn't have
Mike
him
Brooks.
last year.
Gallup
That's
is healthier
That's
now.
facts. You do have Cooks.
You
Forgot
can't
about
say
that.
I'm disrespectful because I like Amon Ra.
No,
better.
you were disrespectful.
I was, but you can't say now in hindsight that I'm disrespectful because I like Amon Ra.
Well,
and I
Amon
think-
Ra's not better than CD Lamb.
in my opinion, I would rather Amon Ra.
Nah, that's crazy.
See, come on.
Is that
That's
crazy?
That is crazy.
It's not crazy.
Bro, CeeDee
Amon
Lamb's
Ra's
better.
great.
CeeDee Lamb clears him.
I-
Respectfully.
I think
Clears?
CD's
He
better, but
clears.
I think they're
Stop.
the same tier.
They're not the same.
They are
team.
in the same tier.
no.
Amon Ra's really fucking good.
Amon Ra
And CeeDee
is
Lamb
really
is
good.
great,
yes,
bro.
but CeeDee
They
Lamb
are-
is different.
they
CD
are-
Lamb is
CeeDee Lamb's
great.
top 10,
Amon
bro.
Ra, and so is Amon Ra.
Amon Ra's not a top 10
Amon Ra's
receiver in
probably
the
like
league.
top 15.
No,
So
Amon
there's a-
Ra
there's
is
a
top
comfortable
10.
gap.
He's top 10?
Amon Ra is top 10.
Amon Ra is not a top 10 receiver in the league.
Yes,
bro.
he is.
No, he's not.
Look
No.
at the
All right,
stats.
pull it up.
Wait, so
Oh,
we're playing the stats.
And he missed a
game?
game.
You just said look at the stats. You did.
All
say
right,
look
listen,
at
if
the
we
stats.
don't want to look at the stats, fine. Not that Jared Goff is a bad quarterback by any means. Dak Prescott, I'm taking comfortably over Jared
That's not
Goff.
saying much though.
What do you mean?
do you want to go through the receivers?
Justin
Yeah.
Jefferson,
Easy.
Tyreek Hill,
Easy.
Devontae Adams,
Amon Ra had
AJ
more-
Brown. That's four. Hold up,
Amon Ra
that's
had
four.
more receptions than CD Lamb. CD Lamb had more yards and touchdowns.
Hold up, that's four.
He
That's
has
four.
one touchdown more, correct? Am I
No,
wrong?
he had 3.
That's four names I already mentioned. Stephon Diggs is 5.
Yep.
Jalen Waddle 6.
Jalen's tough.
It's a conversation.
That is
It's a
close.
I would say
DK
Waddle.
Metcalf or Amon Ra. Who we going with?
I would go DK.
You still go DK.
DeAndre Hopkins or Amon Ra. Who we going with?
DeAndre's always hurt.
You cannot just, it's just D Hop. I mean,
I was
Yeah,
yeah.
you
probably
still got to
would
say
be
D Hop.
Jamar Chase or Amon Ra. Who we
Jamar
going
Chase.
with? That's 9.
You
And now the 10, it
said
could
AJ Brown?
it could be
he said,
who?
he said
Said
AJ
AJ.
early.
I did say AJ Brown. The 10th spot, we have players like CeeDee Lamb, who had more yards and touchdowns than Amon Ra, who I
He
think should
missed the
take that
game.
10th
He missed
spot.
the game also.
Cool.
Amon.
He had more receptions.
I agree, but I'm
Garrett
saying
Wilson.
I think
missed the game.
Terry McLaurin and Amon Ra is a debate.
Okay.
That's not a
Okay.
that's not a
Okay.
not a debate.
Again,
That's
I
a
would
debate.
personally
Garrett
rather
Wilson's in
Amon.
that.
Amari
Smitty's
Cooper
in that.
is a debate.
Again, I would personally
Garrett
take
Wilson is a
Amon.
debate
Amari
with
gets
Amon Ra.
slept on.
He does.
The
Mike
thing-
Evans.
Garrett Wilson definitely could take that 10 spot.
And
He
Chris
could.
Olave, we
there.
not sleeping on Chris Olave.
I'm
He
not
could
doing
take
that.
that too.
And
T. Higgins.
this is going to be the huge
He is
riser.
tough,
I
but
can't say that depending on the
I think
quarterback.
he's like 15-ish,
Yeah.
16-ish.
Because
You say Debo?
if
Do you think DJ Moore's a
DJ
better
Debo's like
receiver
15.
than
I don't.
Amon Ra?
I think I'll go with Amon Ra.
I don't.
I could understand after his down season. I
His
think
quarterbacks were dog
Oh,
shit.
Cooper Cup. My bad.
Yes.
I'm
Okay,
Cooper Cup.
that's
That's
it.
10.
That's
That's
10.
10.
That's
we
That's
go.
10 locked in.
That's what I'm
But I
saying, yeah,
think
top. He's
The
top 15.
DK one is close. D Hop at this point in time, when he's on the field, it's no question. But of course, you do have. Well, he was suspended last year, and he was
But
still.
when he came
was
back,
still- he
he
was
was
amazing. He almost put up a rack, which was crazy. So I think you do give the nod to D Hop regardless.
D Hop a wild
Top
dude.
15. Amon Ra.
He's definitely in the. Yeah, he's there.
You know,
top
I think they're
15,
in
20.
very similar
But there's
tiers.
a lot of players in that
Jalen Waddle
tier.
is close also.
With Amon-Ra.
It's close.
I think Waddle's better.
I'm
I think
surprised you
Waddle's
said
more
that.
explosive.
That's what because again,
After the
I look
catch.
at the
You said
rush-
Tyreek
it's
Hill,
the
right?
after- correct.
Yeah. Amon-Ra's
Because
really good
Amon
after the
is
catch,
great
too.
after
He
the
is.
catch.
It's not close. Waddle's way better than him.
Way better.
The reason why his stats don't look amazing and they don't clear Amon-Ra is because he has Tyreek Hill playing
Well,
alongside
he
him.
did break the rookie record for receptions, so his probably statistics do.
If
clear.
Jalen
Jamar
Waddle
did
is
it.
if Jalen Waddle's the clear,
yards
Oh,
and
sorry.
receptions.
I mean Jalen Waddle I believe had more yards than Amon-Ra regardless of
Last
him
year he
being
did.
the wide receiver
did.
too. If Jalen Waddle's the number one guy getting most of the target share, his production clears Amon-Ra.
He also does need to succeed.
What?
He does. He
If
showed
he,
it last season.
if he succeeded
correct.
with two, he could succeed with Jared Goff. He could succeed with Jimmy
Well,
Garoppolo.
I'm just saying for the Dolphins.
He could
purpose
succeed with
alone.
Mike White.
Waddle's going to be able to succeed. He's a dog. He'll succeed with anyone. I think Amon-Ra too, though. He'll be able to succeed with damn near anyone too.
Last year specifically, I believe that Tyreek Hill and him only had one touchdown combined when Tua was not the quarterback.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. They weren't like
That's the
production
only.
dropped.
That's only what I'm referring to Miami. That Tua is essential to their success.
His production dropped immensely when
Tua
went
was
down.
not present.
That's
That's
why
all I
they're
was
not-
They
saying.
were playing
Because I don't disagree with
playing
you.
Teddy Bridgewater and
I mean, you're
Skylar
right.
Thompson.
I mean,
Mike
mostly,
White.
mostly Skylar Thompson.
Hey,
It's mostly Skylar Thompson.
And
Teddy
Teddy.
Bridgewater only played one full game with
a
with
game
them.
and a game and a couple snaps, or I think
The
a
Jets
snap
game
against
he
the
got.
Jets.
It was the Vikings
the
game
Bengals
that he
game,
played most
three
of it.
quarters, right?
yeah, Tua got hurt.
Tua got hurt
Like
in the first.
second quarter. first
Seeing
quarter.
Skylar Thompson, if you're a Miami Dolphins
almost won
fan,
that
was
playoff game.
brutal. Not that Skylar Thompson was the reason why.
No, not at
the
all.
defense was OD.
Yeah.
So
the
the one full game Teddy Bridgewater did play, they lost to the Vikings. Teddy Bridgewater threw for 329 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Vikings.
Waddle had 129 yards receiving, 6 receptions. Tyreek Hill went for 12 and 177.
Let's not
Vikings
forget,
secondary was garbage.
yeah, of course.
CeeDee Lamb played with
That's
Cooper
not
Rush.
impressive, but still.
Nah, but no,
Yeah, that's
300
All
nevertheless
these
is
Garrett
impressive.
played
Over
with nobody
Yeah.
the whole year.
I mean, Daniel
Except
Jones
Mike
was able
White.
to
Let
do
me see
it.
how much yards he had with Cooper Rush.
Daniel Jones was able to do it. You know, I don't think.
but
Vikings
not
defense
with
not impressive.
Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle as his receivers.
Brian Dable calling the plays, yeah.
Mike McDaniel. Let's
Players
not say
running
he's
wide
not a
open.
scrub.
Listen, a wide open player is a wide open player. They're running wide open.
Okay.
So
Next
the Darren
up.
Waller hype.
Oh, I'm in.
He's been
I'm
getting a
in,
lot of
boy.
hype at
What
O-
hype?
Darren
Darren
Waller's getting a
Waller.
lot of hype at OTAs. As he should.
Real giggly.
Wake up.
There's
Wake
nobody
up.
else there.
I'm
He should.
sound asleep. When
Yo, we got to go to that Giants Jets game, by the
That'd
way.
be-
We
yeah.
have to go.
The Giants are home that game
Yeah.
It's cool.
because
Doesn't matter.
Mojo has the Jets season tickets, right? Not the Giants.
Do you know that for sure? Like, where did you get that information from? I'm curious.
How do
Yeah,
you know
that's
that?
what-
That they have the Jet season tickets.
We go to Jets games.
Yeah, right. But I think that's also because we're Jets fans.
You're assuming.
That's true. That's
You don't
true.
think
It
so?
could be,
Yeah.
It could be for Giants.
Yeah.
I'm just assuming.
Because I'm assuming if we were Giants fans, we would have gotten Giants tickets. Maybe that's
Fair,
just
fair.
me, though.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think so, actually. I think that they have strong, like, they're cool with something with the Jets that they just have season tickets.
Oh, that's cool. Well, we're going to go regardless.
That's
that.
assumption. That's all that's we're
We're
assuming.
guessing.
Next up, Jaguars versus Browns NFL Trios Edition. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver. First up, quarterback, Trevor Lawrence versus Deshaun Watson. Deshaun is currently Deshaun is currently
Priced
a higher price. Yeah, sorry. Deshaun is currently priced higher than Trevor Lawrence.
I think
going
it's,
with Trevor
it's
Lawrence.
safer to go Trevor Lawrence.
I'm going with
I'm
Trev.
going with Trevor Lawrence. too.
Deshaun.
Deshaun has the ability to be better than Trevor Lawrence this upcoming
Trevor
season.
Lawrence also got the ability to be better
The
than
way
him.
I've
Yeah,
been, the way
Trevor
I've been
Lawrence
talking
has
about
ability to be
Cleveland,
MVP.
I gotta go Deshaun.
And the way that I used to talk about Deshaun Watson prior to him missing 18 months of action due to his own actions or whatever situation's
Actions,
going on.
just-
Correct. That's the best way to put
Yeah.
it. Before that, I could have said that he was the best quarterback, in my opinion, eyes-wise. I was wrong.
No.
I'm wrong. I was
It's
wrong.
like a fourth thing saying, bro.
Oh, listen.
He blew a 24-0 lead against the actual
That
best
wasn't
quarterback in
that.
the
All right,
league.
so
Yeah, that
so
was
Matt
bad.
Ryan blew a 28-3 lead.
Tom Brady's better than him.
Say yes.
Tom Brady's
Say
better than him.
yes.
No.
So then I'm going to say no.
But Deshaun actually did blow the lead.
So I'm gonna say no.
But you believe Matt Ryan blew
But,
the
all
lead.
right, so then what are we going to do here?
So if
my
you
God.
believe Matt Ryan blew the lead, then you believe Deshaun blew the lead.
I do agree.
All
I
right.
agree with that. So Matt Ryan blew the lead.
Still to me, no.
Okay, so
It
then
was not his fault.
Deshaun, you can't say that about
He
Deshaun.
got, it was a penalized
you can't say that
offsides.
about
They
Deshaun.
they're in field goal range. I showed the film to Dallas. He knows.
Anyways,
Never ends.
just his ability to scramble outside the pocket, his ability to throw on the run, his ability to read the plays that happen, his completion percentage was 70%, 4,800 yards. He was amazing, and that was the season that DeAndre Hopkins was no longer on the
Facts,
Texans. He was doing this with Brandon Cooks. That's why I say that Deshaun Watson, talent-wise, I could put him up there with any quarterback in the game, maybe outside of course, Patrick Mahomes at this point in time. But we haven't seen it. Last year, of course, that it was a shortened season for Deshaun Watson, and in those shortened amount of time, he was not great. He was not anywhere near Deshaun Watson of normal. So I'm going to, for that safety purpose, I'm going Trav.
I just think Deshaun got the rust off, and then he has Coop, Chubb, Joku, Elijah Moore, Donovan Peoples-Jones. Like, there's no way he can't fail with that core. So I'm going to go Deshaun here.
It's definitely a great supporting cast that he has. Travis Etienne versus Nick Chubb. I think this is a clearing. It's Nick Chubb. We're all going to go Nick Chubb.
It's Nick Chubb.
Best running back in the league.
Interesting tidbit. The highest priced receiver on Mojo for the Jaguars is Christian Kirk at $15 versus Amari Cooper at $20. But since we know Ridley's the actual number one there, he's priced at $12 for the Jags. It's going to be Ridley versus Cooper. Who would you take?
It's regardless, I feel like I still have to go Cooper. Last year, he was great with
Cooper's severely underrated in the game. Like, he gets slept on, not talked about enough. But Ridley, we forget Ridley was nice, too, before he had the little incident. Tay had him in his top 5, too, like top 6.
Cooper is definitely underrated.
I'll take the consistent guy. I'll go Cooper.
Amari Cooper is underrated. He deserves his respect. But Calvin Ridley, let's not act like before he got suspended, he was a 1,500-yard receiver.
That was the year before.
2020.
Because 2021, he was mid.
He played 5 games, but facts.
He was
in that 5 games.
He wasn't good.
Painfully.
Only played 5 games.
No, because that's
30
when
30 catches, 280 yards in 2021.
And Kyle Pitts had 1,000 yards that year.
That's a fact.
In his first full season, and in his last full season, Ridley had 1,500 yards.
He was great.
I'm going to take Ridley's upside with Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson. I think
crazy.
Ridley, I have him over
That's
Amari
not crazy.
Cooper.
I just know Coop going to give me off Ridley.
Yeah, I know the
Deshaun
floor
is
with
back.
Coop is so
And if
firm.
Deshaun is back, that number goes up.
It does.
Who do y'all like? Which core do you like better, just from a receiving standpoint? Do you like the Jags, Kirk, Zay Jones, Ridley, and Ingram?
I lean Jaguars
or
for
the
sure.
Browns, Cooper, Peoples-Jones, Elijah Moore, and Njoku?
I
like Donovan Peoples-Jones as much as the next guy. I do.
Do you?
But Christian
That's
Kirk.
close. Njoku, I think
Christian
over
Kirk as a
Ingram.
number 2 also is intriguing. Because he already proved it last year with Trevor Lawrence that he could be the number 1, even though against higher level corners he wasn't that
Elijah
good.
Moore as a number 2
was,
could put up really good numbers.
You've been selling me on this Elijah Moore stuff.
I mean,
ever since he came to my team.
we saw Elijah Moore his rookie season when Zach Wilson wasn't playing. He had some great games, right? That Colts game on
He had a
Thursday
great
Night
stretch
Football
with
comes
Zach
to mind.
Wilson.
He did as well.
This
But
guy.
if you look at the on-off numbers with Zach Wilson, without Zach Wilson,
basketball
it's pretty
on-off
nasty.
numbers.
No, he's spitting though.
But I think Elijah Moore, like Christian Kirk had a great year last year. I don't know if Elijah's putting up those numbers.
It can happen.
And he might not even be the number 2. It might be DPJ, but Elijah Moore could come in
Could be
and
fucking around
be
be
the number
Joku.
2. Yeah.
I mean, I think Cooper, Ridley is close. Kirk and
think
Moore,
Njoku is-
you go Kirk. Regardless if it's Peoples-Jones or Moore, you go Kirk. But I think Njoku is over Ingram. I like Njoku better than Ingram.
And Joku as a blocker, as a pass catcher, I'm leaning him in both the things that matter.
Are we
for a
adding
tight
the
end.
running backs in here or just wide receivers?
Just
We
for
said
second.
just
I mean,
wide
we know it's a clearing. Nick Chubb
Chubb's
is
got it.
one of the top running backs in the game, no doubt.
Kareem Hunt's a free agent still.
Now, Mojo, we know we've been preaching it for a while now that they are an app that you can bet on players like their stocks. But when they first released, that's what they were. But now they have expanded, and you can bet money lines on there right now. You can bet baseball right now there
Yes,
too. You
sir.
can bet a bunch of money lines for baseball.
Hey, you're up on Alvarez.
Yes, you can bet on the NBA Finals on Mojo. You can bet player props, and they added this new feature called the payout calculator. You put the number that you're going to bet in the calculator, and it gives you what you would make if you place that bet. So that's a good new feature they also have. But yeah, Mojo's expanding, and I'm pretty sure they're going to have DFS pretty soon. That's what they've told us behind the scenes. But yeah, they're expanding their app, so it's more than just betting on an athlete long term. You can also bet in the short term and place bets using that app as well. And if you use code PICKASIDE Mojo, you can get started on that.
Shout out Mojo, man. Always supporting.
Shout out to the Big M.
Yeah, shout out to that. Got me Knicks tickets. Won a raffle there. That was tough.
That was tough. That was a fire moment. Stop being a hater, Riv. Stop.
I hate everything
It's
about
great.
Dels.
I know.
Yeah, that was a great game. Game 1, Heat.
No, I heard it was
Heat
loud.
Knicks, yeah.
Because
It
he's
was
a,
so
you know,
loud.
He's a R.
Unspoken.
What are the odds that Dell's won the tickets?
I think it was set in stone.
You think there was a
pronounce his
little nepotism? Is that the word?
Little
I'm looking
finesse.
for? Yeah.
That's in there. And I came late.
Did you not get your name in the raffle?
No.
Ah,
I can't
Oh,
wait.
that's why. That's why.
Yeah, I would have won.
Oh.
damn it, Pete.
Maybe. Now, the Arizona Cardinals released DeAndre Hopkins, and they released him after being unable to find a trade partner. Why couldn't they find one? Well, because D-Hop is getting paid a lot of money still. On his contract in 2023, which was this season, he was going to get paid $30 million. Next year, it was $25 million. It was going to be a $20 million cap hit regardless. And given the suspension, his injury history, and he's missed 14 games in the last 2 seasons. 6 of them haven't because of suspension, but nonetheless, he hasn't been on the field as much as you'd like him to be. I understand why no team would trade for him, but I think we all know the team he's going to.
I think we all do.
I think it's a few teams.
Denver
you can go.
Broncos?
It wasn't on my list.
No?
I have 3 teams.
I thought that's what we all were thinking.
So let's just go round table because it seems like we all might have the same team we're going to pick from, or at least we all have a team
There's
that
a handful
stands out in our head.
That stands out.
So round table, where's DeAndre Hopkins going to?
Outside of Denver. Now, realistically, I think
I would've
the
said Baltimore.
teams. I think because he went on the I'm an Athlete podcast and was saying like he wants to be on a team that has a great quarterback. The specifics was Hurts.
Broncos.
Allen was one.
Hurts,
The
Allen,
specific-
Lamar.
Yeah, it was Mahomes, Lamar, Allen, Hurts, Herbert.
And
Those are the
he
5.
also asked for a top defense in the league. That's why I think the Jets are in this conversation.
Throw
I think the
KC
Bills are in this conversation. Casey's in it because
KC
of
got a great-
Mahomes.
Casey
He's in it
got a
because
great
of
young
Mahomes.
defense. They got a great young defense.
Baltimore's in it for
They
sure.
won that Philly torch? I'm sorry.
It's basically
you're
all the
losing.
AFC.
What did the
teams.
Bengals do against them?
The Chargers?
That's a good
Do they have a top
Hey,
defense?
but
The
yeah,
Chargers?
they lost 3 offensive linemen,
Mid-
bro.
But
Come
I think
on.
he mentioned
Be
Herbert.
fair.
Of course he did.
Use context.
Chris Jones is one of the best defensive players in the game.
Of course he's
You
going to eat
slept.
it. Of course
you
he's gonna-
slept.
I did not sleep.
You slept.
I did not sleep.
You slept. Nick Bolton is that guy. L'Jarius Sneed is that guy.
Dude got his
Stop
numbers
playing.
padded.
The Ravens is interesting. Here's why I don't think it's going to happen. You paid OBJ.
You did.
You drafted Zay Flowers in the first round. You have Mark Andrews, and you still have Rashad Bateman. I'd be shocked if he goes to Baltimore.
I would be shocked as
I'd
well.
be shocked.
But maybe
Wild card.
if they go all out, you got Todd Monken there. You want to turn into a pass-heavy offense. They said they're going to scale back the rush attempts for Lamar. Hopkins going to come in as great as Odell was the last time we saw him on the field. Hopkins goes in. He's a number 1 wide receiver now. Do you want to pay 2 aging wide receivers top dollar? But I also think there's a strong chance Hopkins takes a small deal compared to what we're expecting him to get on a 1-year deal. And then after this season, once you go into the offseason and more teams have cap space, there could be a bidding war potentially. Next offseason, he goes and gets a bag.
Okay, so I'm looking at the Bills. Of course, that's a team that definitely could
that
be.
seems number 1 to me.
Limited
Bills are the
cap.
favorite to me.
Especially with Josh
Cap,
Allen,
yeah.
you playing next to Stephon Diggs. The defense, obviously, where
The
it has
Jordan
been
is back.
statistically one of the best defenses come playoff time. It just doesn't seem to play at that level that we've seen in the regular season. But I do believe that I have Buffalo at the top of my list. Number 2, I know you guys will not have this on your list. The New York Giants, because they desperately need a wide receiver, and I feel like they will allocate the money to get him, even though that's hard for them to do. They understand that we need a game-changing wide receiver to help this weapons core as a whole. DeAndre Hopkins fills that void. And then also it might intrigue Saquon Barkley to also want to come and rejoin the Giants long-term, because right now they're having contract disputes. He doesn't want to play on a franchise tag, and that's understandable. If I'm a player, I don't want to play on a franchise tag. I want long-term security. And so that also might intrigue Saquon to want to come back because, hey, I got D-Hop now. We might have a squad that we can actually do something with, understanding that they still probably wouldn't be the favorites.
7 road games to start the year.
No doubt. Tough teams
So let me get this
overcome
straight.
tough issues.
No, I'm with you.
So let me get this
So
straight.
wait for this.
And then, of course,
Giants
The Chiefs.
Kansas City.
Yeah.
Giants signing D-Hop.
This is his top
Now,
3.
minimizing their cap flexibility is going to intrigue Saquon to come back, who wants the most possible money possible.
The thing that's been confusing me about this Saquon Barkley situation is that he said, I don't want to change the running back market.
He just wants to get paid $14 million, which is a lot of money for a running back.
I agree with you, but my point being is
Would that be second
he
highest
said,
on
I
cap?
don't want to change the running back market. I don't want to be the highest
just
paid
wants
running
his money.
back. But then they go and they offer him whatever amount of money. I think it was $12 million a year. I could be wrong. You let me know if you guys want to look it up. I can look it up after I'm done talking. Then he declines it. A 3-year something contract. He declines
Probably
it.
the guaranteed money.
Which is, I understand
guess.
that also. So now they're in this contract dispute. Then he won't play on a franchise tag. Again, I don't blame him. But now they're trying to bring in pieces to win football games. If I'm Saquon, the idea of coming back is more enticing.
This was cool.
Yeah, the Giants.
And then, of course, yes, it's got to be Casey.
It makes sense for the Giants. Need a receiver desperately, but if you're going off what D Hop is telling us, I don't know
not playing
if
with Daniel Jones.
going with Daniel
Just
Jones.
say you don't know a thing about Daniel.
And going into it and having to compete with Philly in that division. I don't know. I don't know if it's in
competition.
Dallas.
I've seen.
Dallas is another one too that he
Yes.
could definitely go to.
I was saying the competition.
There's
in
no
the NFC.
competition.
I think D Hop is going to KC. I think out
Like
of
it's
all the
foregone,
teams
gone.
we've
Like
mentioned,
that's it. You're done.
I think he's going to KC.
But why do they need D Hop?
I don't think
Anybody
they
would
need
love
D Hop, but they didn't re-sign Juju Smith-Schuster. They have the depth chart right now is MVS,
It's ugly.
Kadarius Tony, Sky Moore.
Rasheed Rice.
They've had
We're
some
talking
players.
about Kadarius Toney being the wide receiver 1. I mean,
They've
that's
had
how-
some players in OTA step up, like Justin Ross, John Ross. But look at who I'm talking about right here.
Justin Ross
But
has
again,
potential.
MVS, he
John
turned
Ross
into
lost me.
prime Reggie Wayne in the playoffs. Kadarius Toney scored a touchdown. Of course, you have Travis Kelce, who's just going to be Travis
Yeah,
Kelce.
Mahomes is
You
Chico.
don't. It doesn't matter who Mahomes has. Unfortunately, they're going to eat.
It doesn't matter who he has, but always
They don't
adding in
need to
talent
add
is
more.
better.
That's just too much on their payroll.
think
If you ask
you look-
me too,
Bro's doing everything to make sure that doesn't happen.
D Hop
Gotta
wants a
audit
great
that cap.
quarterback. Well, Mahomes is the best.
Chargers
He
sleeper.
wants a great defense.
Anywhere but fucking Casey.
Stop sleeping on his Chiefs' young defense.
I'm
They were
sleeping.
young last year. They were still an
7
average
starters
unit.
were rookies or
Yes,
something,
they
right?
were young last year. They were still an average unit. They're
playoffs.
going to be a great defense this year. Steve Spagnuolo is one of the brightest
Top
defensive
five?
minds in the
They're gonna be a
league.
top 5 defense.
They'll be top 10.
Top 10.
Top
Okay,
10
we'll
for
see.
sure.
We'll see.
They'll be a top 10 or top 15 for sure.
We'll see how OTAs
I'll
and,
see
and,
top 10.
and training camp goes.
But nonetheless, their defense steps up when it matters. They stepped up against Jacksonville. They stepped up against Cincinnati.
Against Jacksonville, that was more that
was
Jamal
more-
Agnew kind of just lost
yeah?
the ball and
I got a
fumbled.
sleeper.
Oh,
You
yeah?
got a sleeper?
Against the Bengals,
Who's their sleeper?
they had a
right?
great performance.
Sleep.
They took advantage of an injured offensive line, but
Their
great
secondary
teams
played
capitalized.
amazing, too.
Great teams capitalized.
Their secondary
Browns.
played amazing.
But it really started at the
No
line.
space. No space.
It started at the line.
The
Against the Eagles, I cannot be fucking convinced.
against
they
the
had a good
Eagles,
game.
they stopped the run.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts had fucking one of the best performances you'll see in a loss. Yeah.
What are we doing?
No doubt. But the running backs combined only
They didn't do
averaged
shit.
3 yards per
didn't do
carry.
They were always frauds.
I mean, you could say that, but no team in the season was able to stop them
They
at
got
all.
DeAndre Swift now.
Ah.
They don't worry about that. You know
Oh,
what
you're
I'm
right.
saying?
All he's gonna do is
And we
run
have-
sideways and get tackled for a loss.
Screaming
now.
at the run sideways.
Don't make me bring up BPA.
Listen, all I
I'm
know
about to put you in a
is
coffin
that
right
the
there.
Chiefs are getting Hopkins. If I had to pick a second team, wow, I'm going with the Bills. I think it's between two teams, the Chiefs and the Bills. It's one of those.
Chargers
That's where
aren't-
it goes.
You don't
Chargers
think
aren't in
the
consideration.
Jets are in the conversation.
Okay.
There's that tweet from Sauce from last month saying me and D Hop just had a great conversation. You got Rodgers there, the defense.
It might be. I have
about
to see
Denver?
it to believe it.
Denver doesn't even pop into your mind. We have one of the best defenses in the league. We
He
got
said he
Sean
wants to
Payton.
play. He said he wants to play with a great quarterback.
Russell Wilson will be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, for the down the road.
People
but
were saying that about Aaron Rodgers at one point in time. He
he's
came
not-
back and won back-to-back
listen,
MVPs.
listen, I don't want to.
Yeah, down year for Rodgers, 26 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
Down year for Russell Wilson was
It was bad. It was bad.
Nah, that was really dog shit.
we also had one of the worst head coaches in the National
Listen,
He
Football
why you
League.
designed
arguing
some
with me, bro?
open plays.
Because you just said he
Perfectly
wants to play with a
path.
Because I
quarterback.
look at-
And now we
plays.
got a top 4, top 5 head
Chiefs-
coach in the game.
The
in
Chiefs
Sean
are a better
Payton.
situation.
Respect
The
us.
Bills are a better situation, and the Ravens are a
Who's
better
your
situation.
sleeper?
It's all debatable.
I had the Chiefs. Everything you said. I had the
Bills
Bills.
can be my sleeper.
No,
I respect
the
that.
Bills, they need a number 2. Like, this is what they've been missing for their offense to
That's-
fully be
that's number
unlocked.
2 in
And
the
what he might be a number 1. I don't know. He could be a number 1, number 2. I think this would be the one. But I really like the Ravens fit. I know they got Odell, but he's injury concerns. Bateman is also injury concerns. You still
He
need
is.
a dominant number 1 when he plays, and I don't think none of those guys is that. Zay Flowers is good, but he's a rookie. I think D-Hop
That's
goes
surprising.
there. Huh?
He's
Yeah,
gonna
surprising.
go
No,
crazy.
I'm not disagreeing, but I think D-Hop is a different type of animal. When you
Oh, yeah,
bring
no
him
doubt.
there with Lamar, he won MVP with, I don't even remember who the
There's
receivers
honestly
was.
Hollywood
it was
Brown.
Hollywood.
Mark
It was
Andrews.
And we know
Will
he's
Fuller?
Willie Snead?
Yeah, Willie Snead and shit. Like, come on, let's be serious. I think D-Hop, I think he should really look at Baltimore.
I know you have 2 teams.
And elite defense. That's
I-
the best
is
defense
that
out of
your
the groups
sleeper?
we just. Yeah, that's the best defense out of the groups we
It
just.
seems
named.
like most people love the Dallas
I was gonna say
Dallas fit.
there's 5 teams that I could honestly see him going to. It's the Bills. It's KC. The Giants, honestly. The Cowboys. And then that 15.
Do you think the
I'm
Giants
blanking.
have
the
a better
Chargers.
chance than the Jets?
Chargers have a good chance to bring him in because they need wide receiver help.
the Giants over the Ravens. The Ravens have
I'm
an
not.
actual
That wasn't
elite
in order.
defense.
That wasn't in order. But yes, I would say they do because again, they've already made. They allocated draft capital, first round draft capital to
Yeah.
bring in a wide receiver. They signed Odell for $16 million a year, or was it $20 million? I think it was 16.
16. Yeah.
16. Oh, that would have been funny if it's in the middle of that. And then Rashad Bateman's now coming back.
Always injured.
I
D-Hop said he wants to play
reasoning-
with Lamar Jackson. D-Hop says he wants to play with an elite defense. The Ravens have both of those.
listen. I'm
Giants have
I'm not
neither.
disagreeing. Respect Daniel Jones.
He's not Lamar.
He's not elite.
He's not Lamar.
Yeah, he's not elite. I'm sorry.
The
He's good, though.
reasoning for the Ravens is a similar reason I have for the Chargers.
What the fuck are we doing?
Quinn Johnson was a first-round pick. You're paying Mike Williams $20 million, and Keenan Allen's still on the books.
Yeah.
But they
That's
were
why I don't
already-
think D-Hop
They were
works
considering
there.
cutting Keenan Allen.
That was their salary more than anything, trying to get under the
I
cap.
think that's over with now. After OTAs has started,
Yeah,
I don't
he's on
see-
the
yeah,
team. He's on the team.
He's gonna be on the team.
I get
No
where you're
doubt.
coming from, though.
I think no doubt.
But I think I'd also would rather play with Herbert.
I've seen some people say Chicago.
Is that rude?
I mean, even though they did all that, you did say, the more the merrier. So, get
So
as
what
much
do you
as
got?
can possible.
What do you guys think about a potential Detroit Lions?
You know what's actually crazy? That did pop into my
Pairing.
mind, but again, that defense is not solidified yet.
He's not going to the NFC.
And then also Goff. If I'm D-Hop, it's not the most intriguing option. Although Goff by no means is bad. I don't know.
He's going
It's just
somewhere
not one
where
of those I see.
he basically knows the floor is the playoffs. The
I'll
floor
look-
is first
the floor
round.
is the
Second
conference
round,
championship.
yeah.
While we're talking
guess
about the
for-
Lions too. Did you see the report about Jameson Williams?
What?
That he's far above schedule than what he was last season.
That came from Dan Campbell.
Yeah, but isn't he? He
that's
can't play
still-
for the first
still
6
you
He's
Yeah.
head
games.
coach.
I mean, I would. That's expected with all due respect. Like he's coming off
I'm
an
not
injury. He's a
disagreeing.
rookie. You know,
And it's coming from his head coach. Like I understand if it's from like a reporter, like, yo, I'm watching these practices.
Is Dan,
It's a
is
shame
Dan,
he's
is
gonna-
Dan
he's not gonna be
Campbell
able
like
to
a
play.
Pete Carroll type of guy? Nah, Dan Campbell will keep it a buck.
it's a shame he's not.
I don't know. I
Play,
think
man.
Dan Campbell will definitely. Maybe.
Man, it's such bullshit that they did that to him.
Yeah. They said there might be a fifth player that gets suspended from the gambling shit too.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Now, moving on, reacting to the NFL kickoff rule. Now, the new rule in place was heavily opposed by NFL players, NFL special team coaches, and coordinators. And this new rule is that players can now fair catch on kickoffs with the resulting possession beginning at the team's own 25-yard line. Now, the fair catch can happen anywhere before the 25-yard line. It doesn't have to happen at the end zone. So if you're at the 10-yard line and you call for a fair catch, you're automatically placed at the 25-yard line. What do you think about this new rule?
It's horrendous. It's horrendous for the fact that the kickoff, in my opinion, the most exciting plays in the game, a long touchdown, whether it's rushing or passing, INT, pick six, and then a kickoff punt return. Now you're basically removing this from the game. A kickoff, I understand why it's in place, because last year we saw one of the most heinous injuries in sports occur on a kickoff. And it's understood that they want to remove that because the world kind of stopped for Hamlin, and understandably so.
That wasn't a kickoff.
It wasn't a kickoff.
Was it?
That was a regular defensive play.
Yeah.
I'm bugging.
That shit killed your whole monologue.
It is,
But
but
to
you know,
help-
I would rather
Yeah.
be interrupted and be corrected.
So I was
That's
thinking-
fine.
To help what you said, though, this was their reasoning. The concussion rate on the play has gone up. It's gone up because the ball is being returned more by kicks that are being hung inside the 5-yard line. College made this rule change in maybe 2018 or 2019. We looked at their data and said, you know what? This is the right thing to do. That was their reasoning for changing the
So
rule.
it's for health purposes.
Yes, for
I get it.
concussion.
I mean, it does take the fun out of the kick return and the punt return. I still remember when Deshaun Jackson brought it back home
Yeah.
against the Giants.
Legendary.
That's a punt
shit was-
return. That's different.
I just said kick and punt return.
That's I combined the two, but understand.
That shit was lit. But I understand it for health purposes. I mean, you try to make the game of football as healthy as possible, as safe as possible for the players that are in it, even though the game is just rooted. It's not going to be safe. You know, you're hitting each other back and forth. But this is one of the good rules that make it as safe as possible, even though we miss out on a great play, a great flashy play.
They've been trying to for years. I mean, you know, they stopped allowing the kicking team to get that running start when you kick it off. It used to be, you know, a touchback was the 20, and move it to the 25 to try to, you know, get people to do more fair catches, let it go to touchbacks. I think we've seen in college, it does take away from some of the electricity, some of like the, you know, fancy plays as you guys mentioned. But it also is going to promote more offense, right? Especially on those punt returns where a lot of the times you'll see a guy if it's not punting out of bounds, they'll let the ball go, right? And you're taking that risk. Does it go into the end zone or does it just land perfectly and the defense gets the ball on like that 5-yard line? Now, if you see a punt being, you get a punt kicked to you and you're on the 10-yard line, I could just fair catch it, get the ball to 25. My offense isn't backed up now trying to, take 2 plays to get some breathing room. So I think that was probably part of the reasoning to get just some more offense.
I'm not sure if it's on punts. I think it's just on kickoffs.
I thought it was punts too.
I think it's just on kickoffs, actually.
Oh, I thought I saw
But I
punts
could
too.
check too.
Yeah.
So what is the actual point now of kick returns?
There really is none. There isn't none.
What I think this is going to do, for one, I think that it sucks.
Look it up.
Yeah, I think they're sort of.
It sucks that it affects players who make a living on special teams because that some players like Matthew Slater on the Patriots, they make their bread and butter by special teams and being an impactful player on that end.
Devin Hester.
But what I will say to this new rule change is that
Looks like it just is kickoff, not punt.
I don't think this new rule change is as bad as everybody's trying to make it out to seem like. And the reason why is because teams that don't have a good return team won't return kickoffs. They'll take the fair catch and they'll take the field position. But teams that have exceptional returners will still take that kick, will still try to run for extra yardage. Even though it's on the 25-yard line, they'll still try to make a return. So I think we're still going to see kickoffs. I don't think that's being negated from the game. We're just going to see less teams do it if they don't have a good return team.
And there's not a ton of incentive because as much as we want to talk about the kickoff returns for touchdowns, 99% of the time you're not getting to the 25-yard line. So I think this is even more reason. It's just kickoff, so punts don't get affected. I think that's fair. You have to have some sort of special teams advantage if you do have a great punter, or especially a guy that's able to pin you within the 20 or 10-yard line. That's a complete game changer. So I'm happy that I was wrong there because that seemed like to have a bigger impact than just the kickoff.
Are you allowed to now kick it out of bounds and not get penalized, or still?
No, you still
same
get
thing?
penalized for
Yeah,
that.
see, that's where you're losing me, man. Like,
You should be able to kick
you
off.
just
Might as
can't do
well.
anything to try and, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're giving no advantage to the kicking team.
Sucks to suck, doesn't it?
I mean, that's kind of weird that you can't do it on kickoffs, but you can do it on punts.
That's what I mean.
You can do it on kickoffs and not on punts.
Yeah, that's the opposite, but regardless. It's kind of
No,
strange.
you're
but-
right. You can do it on punts.
Yeah, not
you can
kickoffs.
pin, but you can't do it on kickoff.
Because I think it's a skill for a punter to place the ball within like the 10-yard line.
But
It
why
is.
can't it be a skill for the kicker now to do so?
Since they moved the
I have to say something kind of
kickoff
smart
from-
after I just butchered so
from
crazy.
from the 30-yard line to the 35-yard line, they changed it from now the kicker kicks from there. We've seen more kicks now result in touchbacks anyway.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I understand why this is not going to like impact the game that much. I think it does suck that we're not going to see as many returns, but teams that have great returners like the Cowboys, like the Packers, like the Dolphins now with Braxton Berrios, they're still going to take that chance.
It's like I remember certain plays in the Super Bowl. Of course, Devin Hester's the first one that comes to mind. He did that against Peyton Manning, the Colts. First play of the Super Bowl, returns it for a touchdown. Another moment that hurts me very strongly, Percy Harvin returning a touchdown, a kickoff for a touchdown. It's just one of those. It's just plays like that are rarely going to happen. And they're so special. They stand out to you. These are things that happened years ago that I remember. So I don't know.
Legendary moments, man.
They are, both of them.
Patrick Mahomes.
Didn't Devin Hester get into like the Hall of Fame? Just
Bro, he didn't get in yet.
He hasn't.
pain.
He's not going to get it.
Which it makes no sense, but it is what it is. They're showing no respect to special teams, really. They don't care about it.
Wasn't Ray Guy the first special teams person to get in?
Ray
Ace
Guy?
kicker? Yeah, for the Raiders back in the I think he kicked and punted.
Nice. It was cool for him.
Both.
Yeah.
Justin
How do you
Tucker's
get
getting in.
How do you get into the NFL?
I was going to say,
doing shit like
Vinatieri
that?
will
Like,
definitely be first ballot.
Tucker.
Sebastian Janikowski, you can
He
make the
was-
debate.
he first round pick Sebastian Janikowski.
It's just, I mean, I think returners just have such a little impact on the game. Like,
Who?
Like,
You said returners?
yeah, occasionally they'll make a big splash
If
play
you're the
here.
best ever,
Devin Hester.
Maybe you should be recognized, I guess. But like,
At least they should get like let three in every 20, 30 years. You know?
like it's more exciting than it is effective. He's a receiver, a wide receiver, and he was not a good wide receiver.
Yeah, some of his 100-yard returns are better than a lot of receivers' games.
not wrong.
I guess. Is it better than their careers though? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm not sure.
They should let the best go
That's what I'm
in.
saying.
Yeah, like
you don't
three
gotta
of
let
them in.
everyone
Yeah,
in, but Devin Hester,
keep like three.
he's like
in.
the face of kickoffs.
So Patrick Mahomes, now he's just adding on to his legacy and how great of a human being he is.
My God.
He really is. He signed the richest contract in NFL history in the summer of 2020. 10 years, $450 million. Deserved every single penny. But year by year, his annual salary has fallen. He's now the 7th highest paid quarterback according to annual salary. And he was asked about it. And you know what he said? I've always said I worry about legacy and winning rings more than making money at this moment. We see what's going on around the league, but at the same time, I'll never do anything that's going to hurt us from keeping the great players around me, so it's kind of teetering around that line. It's not about being the highest paid guy. It's not about making a ton of money. I've made enough money where I'll be set for the rest of my life. But at the same time, you got to find that line where you're making a good amount of money, but you're still able to keep a lot of great players around you so you can win these Super Bowls and you're able to compete in these games. Mahomes has 2 championships at his young age.
Already.
I'm thinking with these statements, passing Tom Brady is still in the picture. If Mahomes is willing to take pay cuts, if he's willing to keep these great players, they might get DeAndre Hopkins with Travis Kelce. Now, you know I love my New York Jets, and that's a team I want to win a Super Bowl over any team this season. The Chiefs are not a far second.
Yeah, you're weird.
And if the Chiefs are able to go back-to-back and win, maybe even three-peat the next year, do it 49ers style.
I'm to the Bengals, bro.
But why the
Remember he was a Bengal?
I don't remember anything
that.
anymore.
I'm a Bengal.
But
Listen,
why-
Jets, Bengals, Chiefs, whoever wins, I'm fine.
You know what? I'm going to stop calling you the NFL me.
Thank
because
you.
it's you. It is 100% you. You are a Bengals
But he's
fan,
worse
a Chief-
because it's the best of the best.
Yeah, at least
Well,
I
you
picked some
can't.
lottery
Well,
teams.
you can't knock it because one, Joe Burrow, when he got drafted, I bought his rookie card. LSU
Number
rookie
1
card.
overall pick.
Congrats. You banked on the
I
number 1
remember
pick being great?
Well, I actually have a tweet far before he was actually the projected number 1 pick, and I said he's winning the Heisman Trophy. And that was well before he was the favorite to win the Heisman Trophy.
Have you ever?
Because I've always been a Joe Burrow fan.
So have you ever banked
Shit's
on
nasty.
underdog story? Have you ever banked on an underdog story being great and they've been great in the NFL? Or you
I
just
could
pick the
definitely
top guys?
remember it. I could definitely
I'm waiting.
remember it.
I'm trying to figure out.
Let me think about it for a while. Right now, I'm thinking about Patrick Mahomes and what he's done.
Patrick Mahomes,
I could definitely go back and I could definitely research and do it, and I could tell you about it. But ultimately,
So nobody.
That's a lot of nothing right there.
Joe Burrow, to just start off,
Biggest underdog right now, I guess, is Zach Wilson.
It's a fact.
That's his biggest.
he's not an
underdog.
underdog because he's a second round. He was second overall pick.
Right
So
now.
now
He's an
now he's
underdog.
an
I can name more. Well,
Right now
two
he's an
years ago.
underdog.
I can name one off the top of my head. Talanoa Hufanga. Last year I called him great.
That's
He
a
made
fact.
All Pro.
That's a fact.
Wasn't he a first round pick?
Now he was a 5th, 6th round pick.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm talking
That's
about
one.
quarterbacks though, or offense. You're not.
Well, I
really-
have to think about quarterbacks. Maybe list me some quarterbacks we could think about it. But
Yeah, because you slept on Tua, even though he's a top 5 pick in the NFL.
yeah, I'll continue to sleep on him. That's fine for me. Joe Burrow, rookie season, tears his ACL. I still believe in him. We had these debates of Lamar Jackson, Matthew
Slept on
Stafford.
Daniel Jones.
You said you called me crazy for saying he's top 5. I mean, he's consistent number 2.
Lamar's gonna get there.
Consensus.
Patrick Mahomes can pass Tom Brady. I've already said it before. He's the best quarterback to ever play this game. When you watch him, he's the greatest ever. All he has to do is get those accolades. And I think right now, you could say number 1's Brady, number 2 is Mahomes because he's better than Peyton Manning.
No, he's not.
There's no doubt about it. He's
Is
better
he
than Peyton
greater
Manning.
than Peyton Manning?
He is greater than Peyton Manning. He has 2 Super Bowls.
Yes,
He has
with all
2
due respect to Peyton.
MVPs.
All
Like
due
career
respect.
wise,
Saying-
he's greater.
He is great.
I
Talking
mean,
about the smartest quarterback
Brady
of all
is like-
time.
He
Will,
Five
like,
MVPs.
he probably will.
like,
be,
do
yeah.
we have to wait the 5? Like, he will be,
mean,
barring
Payne
significant
statistically-
No,
injury.
we are gonna have to wait.
You have to wait.
We
Peyton
are gonna have to
statistically,
wait.
he's like really, really, really fucking. He's top.
Now, the Chiefs last year,
Greatest season ever. Like, come on.
last year,
4
even though
MVPs?
5.
they were the number 1 seed last year, people still slept on them. They didn't believe in the defense. They didn't believe in the supporting cast around Mahomes. Proved everybody wrong in the Super Bowl. We understand that. The receivers is not where you wanted to be. My biggest concern for this team this year, though, is the tackle spot. They got Jawan Taylor. He's playing right tackle, not left tackle. Donovan Smith is a left tackle. Last year, he was the most penalized tackle in the league protecting Tom Brady. He wasn't very good. That's worrying because historically, the only thing that's been able to stop Mahomes is a great pass rush and subpar
offensive
protection.
line, sure.
Exactly. But if he has that, even with a mid-tier supporting cast of receivers, he can win. But this quote is everything you want to hear from a franchise quarterback.
For sure.
Everything you want to see.
I agree.
And this can result in him one day passing Tom Brady. And
How does that make you feel? And Tom Brady's your guy.
Makes me feel amazing because
Oh my God.
Brady's Mahomes is my guy.
You just lose me so easily.
I called him the greatest quarterback I've ever seen play in 2019.
and then
Pinned tweet.
Where's your Brady patch Super Bowl jersey?
It's right there.
So gross.
I have a Mahomes shirt too, though. I bought it before the Brady jersey.
Where's your Burrow jersey? Oh, sorry, I meant your Burrow card, right?
Oh, yeah, it's somewhere around there. Definitely keep it safe.
No decency.
I definitely keep it safe.
Listen, it's everything you want to hear from your franchise quarterback. You're right. Patrick Mahomes signs a $500 million contract. So I feel like this should be his mindset because no matter what happens, I mean, he's going to get his money. I felt, damn, he's going to get his money regardless. He's straight. So the fact that he has that mindset, which I think we're all, without even him saying it, I feel like we know that, right? Like that's just how he comes off. That's his kind of leadership and his personality. Yeah, I mean, he always felt like a team first guy to me, and I think that's what set apart Tom Brady for years. That he was never the guy to take all of the money. He was taking fake cuts year after year after year. And I think Patrick Mahomes saw that and said, if I take this same type of route, I'll be able to have the same type of career. What do you do?
I think he farted, bro.
I didn't.
Oh my God.
You sure, bro?
I swear to God. I don't know why you were laughing. I swear to God.
No, because I saw you like.
I
do
lifted
this.
my cup.
Whenever
and
he does the,
Yeah, when he does like the little thing, I'm like,
I didn't
shit's
do
getting
that, I
nasty.
promise.
So every time you see on the camera Joel fixes C, he's probably ripping ass.
Riv loves to rag on the quarterback thing. You were a Carson Wentz guy.
loved Carson.
He's an Eagles
He's an
fan.
Eagles fan.
He thought he got me there. What didn't there?
We used to have those Dak Wentz debates.
You
They
told
look
me-
ugly for you,
you
now.
told me-
Man, I was a Trevor Simeon guy.
I believe
was
in
a
Zach
Paxton
Wilson.
Lynch guy.
No, fuck that. You told me to believe in Jalen Rieger when they picked him over Justin Jefferson.
Oh.
You told me that.
Oh, easy one.
Yeah.
And it's a shame you didn't give me credit for it because it was such an obvious one. Ryan Tannehill.
Tannehill's some good years.
No, he
Did you have him over?
No,
like
I
someone-
predicted
No,
it
he
before
predicted the comeback.
He did it.
Oh,
the
oh,
Tennessee
Like
okay,
when he
okay,
was
okay.
backing up
I
Mariota.
forgot about that. That was so long ago.
Like I remember we had predictions. I was like, they're gonna beat the Chiefs. He was like at Arrowhead. I said at Arrowhead. And it was a regular season game. Tannehill did it. Game winning drive. Now Tannehill did his thing that
Yeah,
year.
that was good. That was good.
That was
moments.
like that was 2019.
And now you're a front runner.
For who?
The best quarterbacks in the league.
I'm not a front runner. I've always been a Mahomes and Burrow guy. You know I've been a Mahomes and Burrow guy.
So you're a Bengals fan, Chiefs fan,
I'm a Mahomes and Burrow fan.
Jets fan.
I'm not a fan of those teams. I'm a Jets fan. I'm a fan of Mahomes and Burrow.
Aren't you a Kirk Cousins guy too?
I love Kirk Cousins.
You're a Dak guy also.
Minnesota.
Sometimes
Don't
I like
forget,
Dak.
just
Minnesota
Minnesota.
in general. Yeah.
Sometimes I like Dak.
Who else? Who else do you like? Any other quarterbacks?
I like Geno a lot.
Like
That's-
Geno now.
like
Geno's a
Geno
good
Smith.
story. You like Lamar now?
No.
Am
you
I-
don't, you don't
do
get,
I-
no, he doesn't get
do
the
I like
right
Lamar?
to like Lamar.
No, but I know what he's going to do this season. He's going to do some special things this season.
He could be better than Burrow.
So I acknowledge that. He's not better than Burrow.
He could be.
But he will be
He
some.
get
he-
better season than Burrow.
I mean, it's possible.
He
I'm not
definitely
going to say he
could have a
can't.
better season.
I'm not saying he can't.
He's him.
Okay.
Respect him.
Okay. I like that, man.
Tua guy too.
The Russell Wilson downfall, though,
You didn't predict that.
You didn't.
after week one, I did.
After the week
Congrats.
one TikTok you sent last night was hilarious.
That was, I was, you know,
You
what's funny?
literally flipped in 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you had them going to the playoffs, and then after week one, you flipped completely.
Oh yeah, you're right. But I always said they were gonna like fall under expectations. They just fell severely.
Well,
under.
your issue with us was going to be our defense.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that as good. No,
Well, it turns out it was the opposite. The issue was the quarterback.
I guess it was amazing.
Honestly, I wish so terribly that he was right about that. That the defense was ass and that the offense
but it's
was
a
good.
bigger problem for sure than the quarterback
Yes.
stinks.
Quarterback is dog shit.
Sean Payton.
He's going to save us, and Russ will be back. On my mother's life,
not
I
gonna
believe
get
it.
any,
Please don't put that on
I
Moms.
said I believe it.
Oh.
That I
Do we
believe
have-
it.
Who you signed? Jared Stidham, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna get any Jared Stidham this year.
No.
Okay.
Not even a snap, unless we're smoking them.
Got you.
Jared Stidham.
He played well against the Niners.
You did one game.
Like he was one of the first to. No, for sure.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I
No,
know I'm not a Jared Stidham
So
guy. by
Drew,
any means.
as a Broncos fan, how do you feel knowing that Mahomes is gonna keep taking pay cuts?
Yeah,
That's
the same
actually
way that
nuts.
you probably should have felt when you were a Jets fan and Tom Brady was torching you guys.
I felt
That's
horrible.
that's exactly.
you did.
I don't know if I
now
believe
he's
that.
Tom Brady's number one fan.
So, no,
Not
it's,
with the
it's,
Patriots.
it's
With
absolutely
the Bucks,
not what you want
I
to
was
hear.
there.
But if you're a Chiefs fan, this is everything you want to hear. You want that conversation to be that my quarterback wants the best for what is going to benefit my team, that is going to put the most amount of talent on my team, understanding that I'm the best, that's the most I need. I don't need any more praise. I don't need any more money because all I need really is the championships that are going to continue to have people put me in the conversation with the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. But of course, as a Denver Bronco fan, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to see the Chiefs get better by any means. Last year, I thought was our opportunity with the fact that they had no Tyreek Hill, they had no weapons. It didn't matter. Patrick Mahomes is going to elevate anyone that's at the receiving position. It helps that Travis Kelce's there, of course. That Andy Reid also happens to be the best offensive mind in the game. So, of course, Patrick Mahomes has that luxury. He has Kelce. He has the best tight end, one of the best tight ends ever. He has one of the best offensive minds in the game, of course. So I don't think he needs any more help. But, of course, if you're going to give it to him, he won't say no.
It's a shame Alex Smith wasn't able to do anything with that.
He went to the playoffs.
He lost every
Hey,
time.
it's not like Mahomes is undefeated.
That's the difference between Mahomes.
He's lost in the playoffs three
shout
times.
out to the Chiefs for making that
Where?
move because a lot of teams wouldn't.
Lost to the Patriots,
Where in the playoffs, though?
AFC
He's always.
Championship.
He's like.
That's his floor.
He's like
At the
Steph Curry.
championship game.
That's his floor.
Yes.
His floor is AFC Championship. He's like Tatum,
Yeah, just didn't get that chip.
Don't disrespect Mahomes.
No, he's like Steph. He actually wins.
but he lost in the second round.
Yeah, but Mahomes has two.
No, I got it, but again, Steph lost in the second round.
Tatum
You
lost in
can't,
the second
you
round.
can't compare
buddy.
Mahomes to a
He
non-champion.
lost in the first round.
No, Tatum lost in the second round to the Bucks
That too, facts.
in the first round. Like I said.
19 years old.
Well, I'm sorry.
I think he lose in the first round.
He lost in the he lost in the second to the
No,
Bucks.
he lost in the
He
first
lost
round.
the first
To the
when
Nets.
when Jalen Brown was
Oh, yeah,
hurt
you're
and it was
right, you're
Evan
right.
Fournier
That's
year.
true.
I wouldn't count that. I didn't count
I don't
it. See,
count that
didn't
because he
that.
gave a 50 ball
No,
to
I
the
don't count it
Big Three
because they
Nets.
had Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker. That's why I don't count
I mean,
it.
Mahomes is the LeBron of the NFL, except he doesn't have a losing record in the Super Bowl.
Had to throw the jab.
2-1.
Sorry, LeBron's the greatest ever. It's not a joke to me.
Oh, Peyton's the greatest ever to you.
Yeah, no, he's not the greatest ever to me.
That was Brady.
He's my GOAT, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I understand that Brady, what he's accomplished, that's number one.
So okay, I get what you're
Oh,
saying.
Mahomes does it. Goes down as the GOAT.
Why?
I don't like Brady.
Ah,
you
yeah,
want to
you
see me
don't.
miserable? Is that what you want?
Do you want?
Just
do you
throw
want
it
to
on
see
somebody
me
else?
miserable?
You're not miserable.
I don't like Tom Brady.
I'm not saying you have to like him.
So let's
I
see you.
don't.
Let's see you both not be miserable. Let's hope Josh Allen becomes greatest.
Shit, I'll root for Joe
nah,
Burrow to
nah,
be the
nah,
best
nah.
ever before I see
Yeah.
Mahomes do it. Tua, let's see it.
Hurts.
I could also
All
get
right.
behind that. I can get behind that.
We're good with that. Okay, fine.
I can't.
I know. Wonder why.
We know.
We got it. It wasn't even me this time. Yeah, we got him.
We're just blindly ignoring a side of Mahomes.
I forgot. Yeah, no, you're done too.
Oh my
This side of
God.
the table is cooked. Yeah,
I'm dead.
both of you guys.
I'm dead.
I was gonna ask you a question, Des. I kind of forgot the question though.
What's our what schedule are we doing?
We're gonna do the Bills today.
Okay.
We
Now-
is hilarious.
You.
You're
It's
gonna
be
do the
you.
Bills. We're just gonna name the opponents. Now, the Buffalo Bills. I don't know about you guys, but I think if the Buffalo Bills don't win this season,
Yeah.
they're never winning in the Josh Allen era.
Oh,
Ever?
ever?
I don't think so.
He's gonna be on this team
a Super
forever.
Bowl
for the
at
next
least.
like 5-6 years probably.
Of course, but we know that teams usually win within that rookie quarterback contract.
Beatty.
The Bills' best chance in hindsight was in 2021 when Allen went on a historic playoff run, and he came up short to Patrick Mahomes and the
The
Chiefs.
defense couldn't stop a man in 17 seconds. What the fuck do you want?
It
that
wasn't
man to
his
do?
fault. I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's his
Legendary.
fault.
That shit is insane, bro.
But I do think
Punching air.
you.
I was
I
so
was
sad.
lit.
that when Allen first came to this Buffalo Bills team, the defense was a strength. It was elite, a top 3 unit in the NFL. As he's gotten better, the defense has gotten older. It's regressed as a unit. Leslie Frazier's taken a step down this season, and the defense is only going to regress. And I just don't believe that Allen can win if he doesn't do it this year. I think that the cap is going to be too much to manage. And there's just better quarterbacks than him right now. Not a ton of better quarterbacks than him.
Like 2.
But the quarterbacks that are above him have better rosters, and that's the issue. And I think what we're going to go through the record prediction today. Riv's going to name the teams, and he's going to do the win-loss column. And listen, man, the schedule's tough.
It is.
The schedule is tough.
It is tough.
Well, the beauty of
They're
it
going to
is
come out with at least 10.
Oh, yeah, this year, Allen, they reconstructed it. Allen got them to reconstruct his contract to get him some more cap. So the hope is he continues to do that.
Which he will,
down the year.
probably.
Yeah, if he wants to win. I wouldn't say ever, but this year is definitely a year that's very heightened because, they're going to be losing some pieces next year. Guys are getting up there in age. Their defense, for the most part, their safeties. Von Miller, he said he'll be back by week 6. He's making his return. They're getting up there in age. But his contract, I looked up Josh Allen's contract. It's not too bad.
What are his cap hits?
Let's see. Cap hits. Oh shit! I lied. I wasn't reading that part. 47 mil. It turned into 18 mil this year. 47 mil next year. 56 the year after. 52. Then 45. Then 41.
I also think it doesn't help that the Bills are not building a dome in their stadium, and based on how the Bills play, very
Dome
pass
would be,
heavy.
yeah,
It's
helpful.
just not helping.
He
them.
plays well in the cold.
He actually plays amazing in the cold, which is very weird.
I'm not banking on that consistently.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, he's from Wyoming. He's used to it and shit. You know?
He
when
is
it,
used to that
when
cold.
it's the Bill, when it's in Buffalo, when it's freezing cold, and
He
you
plays.
might get
He actually
snow.
plays bad in hot weather.
I think they were in snow against the Bengals and lost.
Yeah.
He
I mean,
That
they
was
got
just-
smoked, though.
They got smoked.
They did get
They got
smoked.
smoked.
Yeah.
But that didn't help his.
No.
I think
his
that was more.
game.
They just weren't good.
But I feel like Buffalo feels like they have the advantage more often than not when it's cold and
I was
snow.
gonna say
and you have that
it
weather.
snowed in that Miami game, and he
Yeah.
played flawless.
You know, I don't think saying this is the make or break year, but I do think if they have another disappointing playoff run, especially if the defense wears down, I think you could see Sean McDermott being on the hot seat for sure. Especially you have a few up and coming OCs. I would love to see Josh Allen with an offensive minded head coach, because as great as he's been this past season, I do think losing Brian Dable had a pretty big impact on him. You saw the interceptions go back up, the turnovers in general. So I would love to see, not that I'm wishing McDermott gets fired, but if he's able to get a Ben Johnson, Seattle's OC, I'm blanking on his name, but one of those that are able to come in and be that offensive mind that we saw Dable be able to elevate Daniel Jones and McDaniel too. Obviously, Josh Allen's already that guy. He doesn't need that elevation, but someone to come in, be able to limit those turnovers, hopefully maybe scale back the rushing a bit. Part of that goes into having a more consistent run game, which they brought in Damian Harris, who I think will help with that. But I think overall they'll be looking at Sean McDermott. Not that they're going to be moving off Josh Allen, but Sean McDermott would not surprise me if they let him go if they have another disappointing run this year.
So interesting tidbit to your point, Dels. 2022, Allen had 35 touchdowns, so 14 interceptions,
Bad year.
13 fumbles. In 2021, he had 36 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, and 8 fumbles. Definitely had more turnovers in 2022, but his passer rating was pretty much the same.
Don't forget he had an elbow injury.
I think the difference in his seasons were how the playoffs ended. I think that people think that his 2021 season was flawless, when in reality, it was the playoffs that was.
Yeah.
But the regular season was still filled with pathetic performances, like when they lost to the Colts, they were blown out by the Colts. They laid an egg against the Jaguars. Like, they had those games too. I just think that it was magnified because he didn't go out.
Now, there
in the
was
playoffs
a
and
stretch
play phenomenal.
in 2022 that was bigger than the one in 2020, where it was like the team was still good, but he was just bad. Like, it was like 4 or 5 games.
His
in a
two worst
row.
games were against the Jets.
Yeah,
this year.
it was that
Showed
stretch
us
where
a
he was
lot.
just really, really not good. Like, he was missing throws, he was throwing interceptions, he was fumbling. He was just doing a lot of dumb things internally.
Now, Riv,
Let's
are
do
you
it.
ready? Who's going to be counting?
Who's the counter?
I got it.
All right. Thank God.
Buffalo Bills 2023 record prediction. Riv is going to do the honor
You got
of
the
giving the wins and
Should've
losses
worn my,
for the Bills.
Bills hat on today.
He has the blue do-rag to go with the Bills colors.
Alternate
Respect.
colors.
Now, first game at the Jets
I think we lose it. I think we split with the Jets, so I'll take this one as an L.
versus Raiders,
W.
at Commanders
W.
versus Dolphins
This is first one in Buffalo.
yeah. Home.
We'll split, so I'll take this one.
versus Jaguars.
In Buffalo?
No,
Tough game.
this is 9:30 a.m.
Oh, this is London.
Oh.
Or maybe Germany.
One of the two.
Jesus Christ. I'll take the W here for the Bills.
Okay.
Versus Giants.
W.
At Patriots.
No one's never easy.
Allen owns Bill Belichick.
I'll go W here. And Von Miller's back.
Versus Buccaneers.
W.
At Bengals.
Loss.
Versus Broncos.
Mm.
That defense is tough.
You're home though. That's big.
That is big.
Prime time Monday night. I'm hyped.
Good
I'm
game.
excited for that game. I'll go W here.
Versus Jets.
Split. Right.
It's a split,
this
so
one.
I gave you the first one,
Yeah.
so we'll take this one.
At Eagles.
Loss.
At Chiefs.
Loss.
Versus Cowboys.
2-game losing streak.
They need this one. I'm going to go W.
At Chargers.
W.
Versus Patriots.
W.
At Dolphins.
Loss.
All right, so you have a loss against Miami. You have a loss against KC.
KC and Philly.
And Philly. Okay, so that's 3 losses. You have a loss against Cincinnati. That's 4. You start going way too fast.
There was a lot of duds in there.
Yeah, you gave a loss to Cincinnati. That was 4. You're beating New England twice, correct?
Yeah, no, Allen pretty much
Splits with the Jets.
splits with Jets and splits with Dolphins.
All right, only 4 losses.
We're here.
13-4.
13-4.
Goddamn.
Yeah, because you had them beating the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Jags either way. At
You had
Chargers
them beating
either
the
way.
Broncos.
It's the Jags,
Cowboys,
Cowboys,
and
either
Cowboys.
way.
Broncos
Yeah, those
go
are
either way.
those are either ways. But I think for the most part, the rest of it, because I think we'll split with the with the Jets, split with the Dolphins. I think those would be splits regardless. And then Jags, Cowboys, those are either ways. You can win, you can
Chargers.
lose. Chargers, you can win and lose.
Yeah.
And then the rest of them are duds. I think like you can win. those
Broncos,
games.
Jets, Cowboys.
Oh, Broncos
Chargers
also.
Yeah.
are all either
Yep.
or games, right? So yeah, 13-4.
What do
So
we have the
13
Jets?
and
We
4 is
have 10, 11 wins?
You got them at 12.
13 and 4, you're competing
I
for
think
the
you
number
might
1
have 12.
seed.
Yeah.
That's a
I think
great
Buffalo
schedule.
can compete for the number 1 seed.
Not
The regular
crazy,
season, I think
not
yeah.
crazy. We got to see how that defense comes out and plays.
Usually they play well in the regular season, so
They do.
they
That's
usually-
right.
They usually play
Spot
well in the
on.
regular season. I think the first game we'll lose to the Jets though. I think
At home, 9-11.
yeah.
Aaron Rodgers.
Tough, for your
The
first
fix is
game
in.
in. Yeah, I think you'll get that L there. But there's a couple of duds in there. It's not bad. I thought the schedule would be worse.
That 3-week stretch with at KC.
Yeah, that was
at
nuts.
Is this
Philly.
Monday night game going to be impossible to get into?
That's I
Let me
mean, if
see.
Mojo's got season tickets.
That's true.
Hey,
Wait, Drew, I don't know if that's correct because Riv had a loss against the Jets.
He split.
Yeah, but it's 1 loss against the
One
Jets.
loss against Dolphins.
You had a loss against the Bengals.
Yes.
Yeah.
He had a loss against the Eagles
And
Yep.
Chiefs. 5
So
losses.
and the
five.
Chiefs,
Yes.
and then the Dolphins.
So
So
5.
12-5.
Yeah, that's the same as we had. Y'all had yourselves. I think y'all had 12 and 5 also.
He had 12. He had 11.
Yeah, so Jets and Bills going 12-5.
I see it. The division
Yes.
tough, man.
Division's very tough.
Bills week 18 face the Dolphins, so that means week 18 we face the Patriots.
That would be. That's fire, actually.
Thank God.
That's at Miami though.
That's not an easy game.
Josh doesn't like hot
I'd rather
weather.
play New England than
No, yeah, Josh, he doesn't like
Would
hot
you?
weather. No, you shouldn't. You haven't.
Y'all haven't beat them in what? How many?
It
Curse
doesn't
is
matter.
real.
look at our quarterbacks.
The Bills and Dolphins
good
are
now.
better.
Like, we have a good team.
Josh, he doesn't play well in hot weather.
Week 18 Miami shouldn't be terrible.
It's Miami, boy.
Yeah.
It's
But in
always
like January, is it going to be like 90?
I was out there in January one time. It was 90 degrees.
Was it really?
Yes.
Goddamn.
It was actually winter break. Mad hot, bro. I was like, what the fuck? Like, it's
Shit.
90 degrees out there.
That's probably the one place then.
Yeah.
And that's going to do it for this episode of the Pick a Side Podcast, episode 284. Make sure to support the businesses and sponsors that support us. Shady Rays, you can get 50% off 2+ or more sunglasses when you order. Mojo, and invest in athletes like their stocks. Use code PickAsideMojo. And Boom Fantasy, use code PAS for a risk-free bet up to $100. You can follow us on Twitter at PickAsidePod, on Instagram and TikTok at PickAsidePodcast. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.